violent extremists online targeting children in San Antonio has increased 300% in the past 2 years. In fact, just this year alone, we're up over double from last summer. And what these guys are doing online is they're grabbing our kids through social media and gaming apps and coercing them to do violent acts. Yesterday, a 19-year-old San Antonio boy, 19-year-old, received 40 years in prison for being involved in these groups, Group 764. Their mission is to bring down the United States, and what they do is they convince kiddos to –
Sorry.
1 second.
1 second.
They convince kiddos to go out and perform violent acts against others, against animals, and against themselves. And the FBI, they have 500 investigations in San Antonio right now.
Wow.
That's why I'm starting with this.
Right.
This is no small little tiddlywinks thing. This is big. Mom and Dad, if your kids are online right now, please find out the sites they're going to, who they are talking to. The FBI is asking you urgently, and this is for San Antonio. I'm sure it's nationwide, Sean. I'm sure. But San Antonio in particular, we have a huge problem with it here. FBI is asking you to hold off on giving your children unlimited access to the Internet as long as you possibly can. Now, we've talked before how Australia, they passed a law, 16 and over only. That doesn't really work. They can't. There's no policing or enforcing measures behind that.
Little boogers they're very technical. They know how to get around that stuff.
Of course. You can use a VPN and you can do whatever you need to do. So, but here's the thing: it's gonna take parental involvement, because there's no other way that you're going to be able to stem this tide. There's not a government program that you can put into place. There's nothing like that you can do. The only thing that you can do is to be a successful parent, as hard-ass as you have to be about this, and make sure you know where they are online at all times. It's a nasty, what do you call it, a dirty part of the neighborhood or something?
Oh, but bad part of town.
Bad part of town. The Internet is a nasty place to be for kids, and these guys, and their goal is to destabilize our communities to bring the country down. They're sure about that.
Well, the kid was 19 here in town.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're an adult at 19, so
Correct.
check on your adult kids.
That's right.
That are over 18, that can vote, that might be in college.
That's right.
It's not just little kids. Because
Nope.
when you said 19, I was expecting 9.
Yeah, well, no, there are 9s.
I know, but you said 19, and I was
right.
like, well, you're an adult, sir.
Yeah, and he was involved in this, and so he got 40 years.
Good.
Yeah, that's right.
You say bricks and bars.
That's
We got to lock them up for a long time, man.
And
Make it hurt.
And it's the kids who aren't on the inside of this that get drug into it and perform the violent act, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
and some of them have killed themselves.
And even if they don't, they kill somebody else. They're pretty much killing their own life. I mean, we sat and watched that crap all day yesterday with Lance Twiggs.
That's right.
Tyler Robinson.
Which we got a lot on that. We'll get to all that. Yeah. And I didn't mean to put this in front of that, but this is more important because it's kids and moms and dads.
And so 500
open cases
in San Antonio alone.
That's double last summer.
When you start thinking about what that must translate into nationally.
Oh, my God. Millions.
This is an enemy attack.
Millions.
This is absolutely an enemy attack.
From the outside, and they're coming in here to destabilize our communities. Look, we talk about these teen takeovers. We did the story just yesterday about the cop who was beaten within an inch of her life in South Carolina. Before that, we had the 10,000 kids that came out in Raleigh, North Carolina, and had the big teen takeover.
Yeah.
This is how it starts. It's online. They're on gaming apps. They're coming. If your kids are playing games on computers or they're on social media, this is where they're getting them, and they're getting them involved. They're recruiting them into this.
Well, if you're getting them young enough and they're adolescents and they're all kind of scrambled up in the brains anyway, as we all are at that age, and you're the most vulnerable you could possibly be emotionally at that age when you're a young person. And, they're online constantly, man. They're just pumping it into their heads. I mean, how do you end up with a Tyler Robinson?
Right.
How do you end up with a Luigi Mangione?
Exactly right. And so this is something that parents need to be aware of. Mom and dad, know where your kids are online at all times. Just like if they're out and they're hanging out with friends, you always need to know where they are. If they're out the same thing. They're hanging out with people online. They may be under your roof, but they're hanging out. It's just as bad or worse than them being outside running around as well.
It is worse.
Sure,
because they're inside your brain.
Sure. The other one that I want to bring up for parents, this has to do with James Tallarico. Now, this guy's got a lot. We have a lot of concern about this guy because I don't know. I call it some sort of perverted passion for trans kids, right? He's got this whole thing where he's wrapped up in trans kids. I don't know why. I have no idea. I've never talked 1 minute to the guy, but that's his number one issue. He was asked that on a podcast, and he said, my number one issue is trans kids. Yeah. I care more about them than I care about anything else in life. I don't know why that is, but now he is out campaigning with a surgeon who has mutilated children before. You know, I call it chopping up children.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, chopping up children. Dr. Dustin Reed with the Restora Austin Plastic Surgery Center, before we outlawed this trans surgery in kiddos, he was one of the top leaders in America doing the FTM. That's female to male. So you can imagine what that is. That's removing the breasts off of young girls. And he's on the website very proud to say how he is able to form a male breast and male chest where it looks all muscular. I know it's kind of sick to talk about, but you need to know this. This is the guy Tallarico's hanging with. They're out campaigning together. Now, it's illegal in the state of Texas. No thanks to James Tallarico, because in May of 23 he voted against it. He voted against making.
That's what a good little Democrat does.
Well, of course. He voted against making chopping up children with these surgeries illegal. He voted against making it illegal. He stands even today for chopping up children. Now, he's changed his story in the media because he has about everything. He's changed his story about everything. But this guy, this Dustin Reed, confirmed to Fox News that, yes, before they made it illegal, that I absolutely would do it on minor children.
I think any surgeon who takes a knife to the healthy body of a child should be arrested and put in jail.
We've said that a million times, Sean. It should be a life sentence. If you chop up a child, then you need to go to prison the rest of your life. And of course, yank your license and go away.
And I agree. We need to focus on Tallarico because it's going to directly affect Texans. Now, obviously nationally as well, but specifically Texans, which is why we focus on him. But this is what the whole platform is. Look, you can tie it into the story here in San Antonio about getting into the kids' brains.
That's correct.
Online. They're doing the same crap with this.
Well, here's the bottom line. The Democrats, because the Democrats are commies, right?
Yeah, I agree. Communists.
Okay. They are the ones who are behind a lot of this stuff. So if you let them into power, you're going to have the chopping up children approved and legalized. That's going to happen. They are behind the destabilization of our communities because they want communism to replace what we have now. Marx is very clear on you have to tear down your community and rebuild it through chaos in the community.
Well, you also have to get the young. You have to get lots and lots. You got to get into their heads early on and turn them into nice little revolutionaries because ultimately, you know what? It ain't about trans rights. It ain't about any of this crap. It's about total power and control. That's all it is.
Now, we're out of time, but before we break, I want to say one more thing about Tallarico.
Sure.
Okay. So in James Tallarico is talking about gun control. Attacking the Second Amendment.
Of course.
I'm just going to play a little sound, and then I want to share something with you that he is also saying.
Assault weapon ban, large capacity magazine ban. I think restricting, large firearm purchases. I think we should even start to think about, handgun design. Safety standards.
So those are just a few of what he says we should do. Ban assault weapons. Which
define one.
I'm holding up my phone right now.
Yeah,
if I hit you with this, I guarantee you're going to say you assaulted.
It's an assault weapon.
So when he said gun designs,
I'm going there.
Okay.
So then he talked about large capacity magazines. So what's a large capacity? Again, subjective
who
versus
determines that?
Yes.
Could be 6.
Could be 2.
Could be 2. Right.
So large capacity magazines, and then of course what Jimmy just talked about. Redesigning handguns so they are less lethal.
Well, that sort of makes it not a weapon.
Correct.
That you can protect yourself with.
Useless. Now, again, a commie like Tallarico wants to do this so that you are an Iranian citizen who can't fight back against an oppressive government. That's why he wants to do it. One more thing that I want to bring up, and I did a video on this. One of the other things he wants to do is licensing. He says your rights are not absolute, that the government should restrict our rights. So licensing for the ability to be able to buy a gun, you would have to go appeal to the federal government, obviously pay your fee, so that you could get a license to buy a gun. And the federal government would decide who gets a license and who doesn't get a license. So if you follow this logic to its conclusion, the First Amendment right of free speech, you should have to go to the government and get a license to speak freely or to exercise your religion or any
believe in God. You got to make an argument for my belief in God.
You got to go get a license from the government in order to do that. So it's no longer a right granted by God. It's a permission granted by the government, which makes it communism.
Well, stack it all up. The whole increasingly, I think I'm realizing a lot of people are that all of this stuff is tied to the same plot. Whether you're talking about kids online,
yes, sir.
Whether you're talking about what do you got to do? Got to get into the heads of the kids. You have to disarm the population. And this stuff effectively disarms
100%.
The population. Without kicking their doors open and taking their guns, you're effectively taking away their guns.
Because, again, it's subjective, right?
It's subjective.
The government decides who gets a gun and who doesn't get a gun.
Right.
So if you're a good commie, you can have a gun. If you're a patriot, you can't have a gun.
Exactly.
And that's what James Tallarico stands for, ladies and gentlemen.
He's one of them.
In the state of Texas, he will appear on your ballot. Tell everybody. More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA. It's Friday, July 10th. Chances for rain and thunderstorms and heavy downpours possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90. Partly cloudy Sunday and Monday with highs near 92. 75 now, KTSA.
Good morning. This road work on 35 northeast side, southbound between
the average white band going to pick up the pieces because they're laying all over in the studio right here. And we are Ware and Rima. Happy Funky Friday.
Happy Funky Friday. And you want to get into the Lance Twiggs thing at 6:35? We have
I got a whole bunch of sound and stuff, so we're going to need some more time for all that.
My deep legal analysis is I believe he did it. That's what I took away. We'll get into it at 6:35, though. I believe he did it, allegedly. Got to be, make sure you say it right. I did see this story on, we were talking yesterday a fair amount about how Donald Trump was talking about, a target on his back and the plane and drawing the shades. And I guess the Wall Street Journal reported that Israel shared some intelligence with us saying, well, there is a fresh plot to take you out.
Which we said yesterday.
We said, yeah. So, I mean, I didn't see the Wall Street Journal report. I didn't pick up on that till last night. That there is, fresh. We've known about death squads in this country sponsored by Iran. We know that there's all kinds of people, not just Iran, who wants to take the guy out. So kind of validates why he was speaking so much about that, at least early on, before it became about, well, the plane's going on tour in Europe and stuff like that. I was also reading about how China, I guess, now is starting to say to Iran that, maybe you ought to start abiding by this MOU.
They need oil.
They need oil, and they also ship a lot of their imports and exports through the Strait. So China's getting a little squirrely on what's going on. And, beyond that, I don't know if we had anything really significant happen last night, but I think was there anything that I missed because you're up all night? I didn't.
You mean like bombings and stuff?
Yeah. I think we need to finish the gig. I think it's time to, I hate to say go on in there and turn the place into a mirror, but you're probably going to have to. I mean, we blew up a bridge the other night, but you're going to have to this can't go on. I was reading more and more about how Israel is more on the side of what we're describing, which is, finish the gig and just level the place, and I guess the Trump team is still sort of holding out for some idea that they're going to negotiate, but they're not going to.
Jack talked about this yesterday when we left, and he was talking about how Donald Trump is not what everybody thought he was going to be, or who he thought, or the opposition always claims he is. He is actually very measured, and he is very thoughtful. And he has a long line of patience where he would rather solve this through negotiations rather than blowing stuff up. Now, if you listen to the girls on The View, he just wants to kill everybody. He's out there blowing everybody up. No, he's not. He's the complete opposite of that. But Sean, in reality, of course we need to finish it. And if I was Trump, now, he doesn't listen to me. But
me neither.
If I was Trump, I'd just unleash the Mossad on the leadership and wipe that leadership out. Let the Mossad's ready, and you talk about it. We don't have to put any troops on the ground.
Syrians are ready.
Well, sure they are, but we can just say to the Mossad, go take the rest of that leadership out and put Bashar al-Assad, not Bashar al-Assad, the Shah's son.
Right?
Is it Perez? Put him.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, Perez, I think. Put him in charge and let him run the show, and then we'll get this solved overnight.
Well,
take about 10 minutes.
I think they have to do something pretty significant soon because, again, you're just going round and round on this merry-go-round with. First off, they say that they want to. He says they're going to make a deal, and then they're out there in public saying something completely different. Then they start shooting at cargo ships. It can't go on. I mean, I know it's only been a handful of months, realistically. But he knows at some point the end game is going to have to take place.
Actually, not to disagree with you, but actually it's been 47 years realistically.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Right, 47 years. I mean, at this particular chapter of it, there was 3 wars in Vietnam that were fought, so it's kind of the same idea.
Exactly, and they are stringing him on, or trying to string him along like they did every other president.
Right.
And he's got to put an end to it. And maybe this latest death threat will do that. Maybe this latest death threat, he does say to Israel, finish the job. Just get rid of this regime.
Get bloody, get dirty, do whatever you have to do.
Do what you got to do, man. I think that's why he said, remember 2 nights ago he kept calling them sick people. These are sick people. They are cuckoo because he had that info then that they wanted to wipe him out and kill him again.
Right.
I believe they're behind Butler. I believe they were behind the thing in Florida. I believe that they have been behind other opportunities to go after him. I don't know. Maybe they were behind what happened in D.C. I don't know.
Well, the 2 guys that we know of were both. It didn't make any logical sense. The second guy was doing all kinds of international travel, which he very obviously couldn't afford. They both had phones that were, what are these dumper? What are they called? I can't think of the burner phones. There was just too many questions about how they were able to do it, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and so
so somebody was behind it, beyond just the individual crackpots.
Yeah.
But again, that's what they're about. Just go to our opening segment. They're all about them, they. Whether you're talking about communists in America or you're talking about international terrorists or Iran or what have you, they want to get into people's heads online so they'll do their dirty work for them.
Well, and they are. Well, that's what I said yesterday. They have a lot of people here that they're not Iranian,
right?
But they listen to the Iranians because they hate Donald Trump enough where they would go get. Remember, we had that conversation yesterday. And so you think about Mamdani, and one of his commissioners had set up a meeting with the Iranian UN ambassador, and she was going to have now. What is Mamdani doing, having a meeting with the Iranian UN ambassador while we're at war with Iran? Now, Trump's people got involved, and of course, it was Marco Rubio's people from the State Department shut that meeting down. But behind the scenes and behind the back of the federal government, Mamdani's government was going to meet with the Iranian representative.
Because he's one of them.
Correct. That's
he's one of them.
Sean, that's what I'm saying. That's how it's all tied together.
All of it's the same thing.
That's it. It's all working together against the United States of America to bring us down. We got to go.
Yes, we do.
All right, more in just a minute. I'm going to tell you about my friends over at Apple Pest Control. When you call Stan Goodson and his family over at Apple Pest Control, you're going to get the absolute best in pest control services. At Apple Pest Control, they do it all. So if you got little bugs that are crawling around and you want to get rid of them, if it bugs you, it bugs Apple. Or if you've got squirrels or ring-tailed cats or raccoons or any of the above, they get rid of all those for you. And how do I know? Because for 23 years, they have been taking care of the warehouse for us, and we love these folks. Number one thing that drew me to them was the fact that there are no contracts to sign ever. Previously, in our previous homes, Nancy and I had signed on with some of these guys that were like national companies, and you had to sign at least a quarterly contract, sometimes an annual contract, and then you got shoddy service. Well, that's not the case with Apple Pest Control because there are no contracts, so every time they come to your home, they have to earn your business again, or you're just not going to invite them back. And for 23 years, I have invited them back. I tell you how good they are, right? And no hidden charges either. They're just really great people, so they get rid of the bugs and the other stuff that's bugging you. If it bugs you, it bugs Apple. $25 off your initial service. Just mention Trey Ware, and they'll handle that for you. Apple Pest Control, 210-695-8946.
News Talk 550.
We're wearing Rima, KTSA. Let's get your funk on. Yeah, right
Ouch.
on. That feels so good in all the right places. Huh, 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 huh. So here's the deal. I always check before I leave the house, just to see the route coming in the middle of the night, because 35 is a mess.
Right.
So it told me to go a little bit of a different way before I got on to 35. So I went a little bit of a different way, and then I got on I-35.
Right.
Once I got on I-35, it was spooky. I was just telling Elaine, it was spooky.
Spooky. Why was it spooky?
Because there's nobody in front of me.
That's
forever.
spooky.
From where I got on, which was at Judson Road, all the way to KTSA, Sean, there was nobody in front of me. They had all the lanes shut down. One lane was open. But, son, I'm telling you, it was wide open in front of me. I could have gone 200 miles an hour like my NASCAR days and been all right. I didn't go that fast.
Right.
That was I haven't had that happen. I can't tell you how long.
Well, I guess they no work. They weren't working on it.
I think what happened. No, they're working, but I think all the work was behind me and everybody stopped.
Right. Oh, I got you.
I got around.
You got lucky.
Yeah.
You got in after the stop. Well, there you go.
Okay, now a few minutes ago you let the cat out of the bag, so I'm gonna play all the sound here, and then no, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
And then we're gonna give
we're all thinking the same thing.
The cat?
Oh yeah, I told you that in the bathroom earlier when we did our little bathroom.
Right.
Our office is the bathroom, and that's why the video.
That's where we have our post and pre-show meetings.
Correct. And so anyway, let me play some of the sound. Here's Lance Twiggs.
He asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family, and he asked me if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets, and I just told him where a Dremel was and told him to make sure he doesn't set off a bullet on accident in the house, but I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember, because he'd been talking about the hunting/camping trip for a couple months, but I don't remember when he was specifically asking to engrave the bullets.
All right, this is what he engraved on them was a furry sex joke, noticing the bulge. Hey, fascists, catch, and chow, chow. If you read this, you are gay. Here's some more sound with Lance Twigg.
What about Charlie Kirk? Did he ever talk about Charlie Kirk?
I personally had never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk before specifically.
Okay. How about political issues? So did you ever talk about gender identity issues and LGBTQ rights?
No, not really. Usually if he did talk about politics stuff, it was relating to Trump or current policies being issued or voted on, I think. But.
So then they got into the text messaging between the two of them.
Lance says, why? And Tyler says, why did I do it? And Lance says, yeah. Tyler says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. We'll update you shortly, or sorry, we'll update you by midnight. And then Lance says, all right, stay safe. How long have you been planning this?
Scroll down a little bit, please, Kimberly.
And Tyler replies, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it.
So here's what I did. I put the entire time on my X account with all of the text messages back and forth. I can't play it all on the radio. First of all, it's 23 minutes long of him reading the text messages, but there's a lot of F words, S words, all of this stuff in there, so I can't play that on the radio. You already said in the last half hour he's guilty of sin as far as you're concerned.
I believe he's guilty.
Yeah. As far as you're concerned.
Yeah.
And that's what I say. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this guy is the guy. Now, I told Elaine yesterday, you can give your 5 in a second. I told her yesterday what the only thing the defense can do now, two things. They can either plea, and say, okay, let's keep him from taking a bullet in the chest, because they do that in Utah.
Right.
They have a firing squad law in Utah. So let's either plea or, hey, our defense says he really didn't do it. He was just trying to impress his lover. Don't be surprised if that doesn't come out with this defense guy. Now, what were you going to say?
They messed it up. The prosecution messed it up yesterday. It was supposed to be a preliminary hearing. They had overwhelming evidence. They basically effed it up because they did a trial.
They showed their hand.
They showed their hand. They were doing like a trial, and they did not afford this young man a proper trial or hearing. They messed up.
Because they showed all that evidence? Because they presented all the evidence?
Because they presented majority of the evidence, but it was supposed to be a preliminary hearing, not a trial. And they showed the evidence, went through the evidence, went through the text. Basically, they heard twigs talking, and they did not afford this guy a proper hearing.
I don't know how, because it's like
up.
a grand jury. So, I mean, but we're a grand jury. You don't normally sit and watch. So, I don't know. Was you got a point? What do you think?
First of all, there was a time when the judge had to take something down because they had already decided it was not going to be shown, and this judge is horrible. He's really bad.
He's bad.
He was only put on the bench in May of this year.
Wow.
May of this year.
And he's the one on this case, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's the wrong guy to be doing this. And now he pushes his decision back to September.
Yeah.
So September 1, he's going to have them argue in front of him. He never makes a decision instantly. And so what he does is he'll sit on something for days and days. I'll bet you that he has a meeting with them September 1st and doesn't rule until the end of September, the beginning of October, as to whether or not there's even going to be a trial in this case. I'm not disagreeing with you, Elaine, but I think he gives a lot of deference to the defense. He listens a lot to the defense, and he tells the prosecution to shut up a lot. And he allows the defense to throw up a whole lot of arguments that's just delaying. And this defense guy is well known for that. He's well known for just delaying a trial and delaying and delaying and delaying by objecting to. He'll object, and she will too. Object to everything that's being brought up.
He did object to a lot of stuff.
And instead of instead of the judge, most judges, they rule their courtroom by going, all right, I hear you sustained, or I hear you overruled. I hear you overruled. I hear you overruled, and pushes that stuff to the side and only focuses on the important stuff that's really pertinent to the trial. He's not doing that. He's hearing every single objection all the way through all the arguments. And so you sit there all day and just try to go, and that's the defense tactic that they're using right now.
Like I said, he is having a trial instead of a hearing, and they messed it up. They're going to plea out. That's what they're going to do. They're going to plea out. There will be no trial. They're going to plea out.
They're going to plea out, I think.
Yeah, but they're gonna
at the end of the day, the water's wet, and they got the evidence.
They're going to plea out to life and not death. That's it.
They're trying to get the death penalty off the table.
That's why you were out, Jimmy. That's exactly right.
That's
Keep from taking a bullet, because they do the firing squad there. And
in Utah.
And he's got two options. He will either plea out and say, I just said this just a minute ago.
Yeah, we were just talking about it.
Right. He will either plea out, number one, or number two, the defense is going to say, he didn't do it. He was just trying to impress Lance. He was just giving Lance all the stuff. But the fact of the matter is, they got the gun. His DNA's on the gun and a towel.
Well,
what do you want?
But they had a hearing. They were having a trial essentially yesterday.
I understand.
It was very trial-like. Yeah, it was.
Unless you're an Amish person or live under a rock in Utah, you tainted a potential jury for this kid.
Sure.
It's on TV. That's a fair point.
Sure.
Everybody saw it.
Sure.
Don Trump Jr. last night on Fox said he's guilty.
Yeah. Well, I say the same thing.
The jury.
But that's not the jury that's going to hear the case. This is the grand jury to see if it goes to the case, right?
But it's public, so it's all public. And I was kind of thinking that yesterday, that's kind of an odd way to go about it.
No, her point is, you are correct. You are right. They tainted a jury pool out there, but it doesn't change what I said about he's got two options. Those are the two options. He has no other option. They can't go to trial on this thing. There's no way with that evidence.
Is overwhelming. I mean, but as far as procedurally, and making the argument that, how do we get 12 people who haven't seen any of this coverage, if you want to plead out, get the death penalty off the table. I mean, I think he's going down one way or the other.
Right, and with Vordai, they can discover whether or not they can find 12. They got to have, 16 people, I guess?
16.
What is it, 16?
The alternates, yeah.
So
it might be Amish, folks.
Well, it could be, but I'm just saying that they have ways of trying to find 16 people that have not heard the evidence, and not everybody. I'm telling you, not everybody's listening. Not everybody's paying attention. Not everybody is focused on this. We talk about this every day, how most people in this country don't pay any attention to the news, or they're watching TikTok news. All of us are in this stuff. I bet you watched it all day, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And so did I. Did you
watched
watch it all day?
most of it, yeah. I had stuff I had to do.
That's because that's what we do. That's how we receive a paycheck. Most people, they're driving around.
So then a motion to change a venue and get it out of the state of Utah is maybe something they can delay even more.
Maybe.
I'm more disturbed by. Yeah, I wasn't surprised by the bullets and the engravings on them. I'm just more disturbed. I keep tying stuff back to that case here in San Antonio, the 500 cases in San Antonio where they're going online and getting into these pukes' heads. Are we not noticing a theme? Put words on the bullets. This is like the third or fourth crime of this nature that we've seen. The bigger threat, whatever happens to him, happens to him. He's going to go to jail for the rest of his life, or he's going to die. One of the two things. I don't believe he's getting off in any way. Even if they have to, they go through a trial and they have to scrap that trial, go through another one. At some point, that boy is going to jail or he's going to die. But the trend of this happening,
sure,
that was a political assassination. It happened, I guarantee you, as a result of the same thing we were talking about at the beginning of the show, where the online radicalization takes place.
That's why I wanted to start. The way I started the show this morning, that's why I wanted to, because it ties all of this stuff together. I'll tell you who did more to taint a jury pool and prejudice. Thank you, against the prosecution. People like Candy Owens, Tucker Carlson, all those people out there, this Jesse on Fire, Alex Jones, all these people that have been out there saying this was a big conspiracy, this kid didn't do this, no way this kid did. Alex Jones has been saying there's no way this kid did this, there's no way he did that, that's a damn lie, there's no way he did this. And you keep putting that stuff out there, you are fighting against the prosecution in that case.
Well,
so because you're stuffing into the heads of people all day. This was a giant conspiracy at Israel. Charlie was mad at Israel and they were separating, so Israel ended up knocking him off.
Well, Candace Owens keeps going on and trying to involve Erica Kirk as well. And it's like Erica Kirk has basically said, I'm under a gag order. I don't want to taint the jury. I can't say anything about this because I don't want to screw up the trial. And they keep running their mouths about it. I think Candace Owens is a piece of crap.
So the attorney for Tyler said yesterday that Eric is going out every day and having press conferences with the evidence. She is not.
She's not doing that.
No. He said that in the trial yesterday under oath in front of the judge. And the defense attorney, or the prosecution, had to get up and say, that's just a lie. That's absolutely not true. But even the judge tried to keep the prosecutor from pointing out that was a lie. That's what I'm saying. The judge is prejudiced for Tyler Robinson. He's leaning more toward Tyler, and he says it every 2 seconds. Elaine, I listened to him yesterday. Every 2 seconds he kept saying, I've got to watch the rights of the defendant. I've got to watch the rights of
because he's afforded a trial. He's afforded
sure he is.
Rights.
Absolutely. But this is also an opportunity for the family to hear the evidence. That's also what this is about. And he is trying to exclude the family from hearing the evidence. We're way behind time. We got to go. So we got some more in the next segment. All right? We are Ware and Rima, KTSA. Chances for rain and thunderstorms. Heavy downpours are possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90. Partly cloudy on Sunday and Monday. Highs 92. 75 now, KTSA.
Good morning. We are
July 10th, we got your funk on today. And chance for rain over the weekend. I hope that happens. It's Ware and Rima, KTSA.
You want to talk about something stupid?
I always want to talk about stupid stuff. And we did a video in the bathroom this morning.
That's
so
right. We did do a video in the bathroom this morning.
Might as well do
Check
something stupid. Stupider.
Well, this is the first time that I've actually heard something on the Gordon Deal show, and it caught in my brain.
You mean
Gordon Deal? What?
NPR?
I'm Gordon Deal. I heard this when I pulled up that a new study from a financial services firm called something I can't pronounce, Remittedly, that the most searched dream job in the United States is DJ, to be a DJ. Not a radio DJ.
Correct.
Because people have you guys already talked about this?
No.
Because people have figured out that radio people don't make any money. But DJ, meaning club DJ, where you're one of these, they got some celebrity. I know a couple of people who are local celebrity type DJs.
Yeah.
And when they show up, it's a big deal, and they fill the place. Yeah. And these people travel around. And they're DJs, and they're famous for being DJs.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm just talking to him. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. I'm just, one thing I've learned about, like, the modern era DJ club jock, because I used to do that through the 90s. Most of the 90s, I was a DJ, and I'd do weddings and bars and clubs and stuff like that. I had 2 CD players and a microphone, Trey.
Same here.
Do you know, but a lot of these DJs now... Okay, because I know a couple of these guys. They figure the whole thing out on they make a mix on a computer.
That's right.
They're not actually sitting there and hitting a song. Boy, I'm going to sound like a real old fart here, but they're not actually hitting a song, playing the crowd, then hitting another song. They figure out the whole mix perfectly before they even go in there.
It's great. It's great.
What's great about that?
It's great. They're great.
That's nothing great. That's not DJing.
When I started, I had one turntable.
One
turntable.
How do you do it with one?
I had to talk, but while I was changing out the 45s.
Right.
I kid you not.
Wow.
Man. I'd change it to 45, stick it on there, and no time at all. Let the next song rip. These guys are really good. When we saw Pitbull here, that was his opening act. There was a guy that was a DJ that was the opening act. They didn't have an opening act.
They're figuring it out before they even go out there.
Well, let me tell you.
They're not like, hey, this crowd's going well. I'm going to jack it up here a bit. I'm going to slow it down. They've got it all pre-mixed before they go out there.
Right. And
well, anybody can do that.
Okay.
I could do that.
Well, then go do it because
I have no desire to.
The guys in Las Vegas, like the guy who did Uptown Funk.
Right.
They make about $4, $5, $6 million a gig.
I don't doubt it.
A gig.
I don't doubt
per
it.
show. Some of these guys are just over the top in the amount of money that they make when they play these big things. It's ridiculous how much money those on-site DJs are.
They're doing very well.
I mean, like the one I just mentioned that did Uptown Funk with Bruno Mars. He 1 year I think he made like $80 million, $90 million DJing.
But they're sitting at home figuring it out before they go out there.
It is amazing.
They're not reading the crowd. They're not playing a mood.
That's not
They're
all.
They're pre-mixing it.
That's not 100% correct because they do.
He's wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yeah, they do. They see
I'm
stuff.
wrong, Elaine. Here and at home.
Calm down. Drink a little more Big Red and calm down. They do read the crowd, and they will do some mixing based on that for sure. So they just know how to do this. That's why they got the headphone, man. They put one headphone on.
Well, that's what I used to do.
You see a lot of them at Coachella.
Huh?
You see a lot of them or hear about them
it's
at
huge
Coachella.
at Coachella.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so Sean's playing the old man card of we
playing
did
the
it
old
this
man.
way instead of looking
stop
at it.
yelling.
We
like,
had two CD players and a mixing. We had 2 CD players
Sean.
and a mixing board. That's all we had, Elaine.
Sean, quit yelling, please.
cassette
Stop
player.
yelling. God.
So as I was saying, the modern DJ,
Yes.
the ones that Trey is talking about, they're not reading the room. They are directing the room based on the playlist
That's
that they
right.
put together for the show,
For that
and the crowd is supposed to respond how
So-
they see it.
They're already mixing it then
Sean,
before
I'm
they
telling
go
you.
out.
And,
Yes,
and by the
yes.
way, there are
That's not really DJing.
Orchestrated chaos.
there are live musical acts too that have a DJ with them. In fact, one of the most popular who actually introduced that was Kid Rock. He's the one who introduced that concept. But they have the guys are up there jamming live with guitars and drums and everything, and they got a DJ who's mixing it in with them. He's part of the band.
But he's already figured out his mix before
it's
he
not
goes
100%.
out there.
It's like a painting. You don't paint the Mona Lisa in front of a crowd. You paint it, and you have the crowd react to it. And that's how they look at their music. They're like, "This is
better in my day, James. You had to read the room, baby. You had to read the room. You had to feel it, man.
You still do.
Huh?
You still
not if you're pre-mixing it in your expensive living room, but hours before you go out there.
They don't all do that. They don't all do that. In
It was
fact,
better in my day, Trey.
Good Lord.
Their music sucks.
We
too.
both had Big Red this morning.
Yes, we have.
Both of y'all are
That's
just
right.
off the walls, man.
Is it a Funky Friday or a Fuddy-Duddy Friday?
I'm telling you.
Feisty
Get off
Friday.
my lawn.
I'm gonna change the subject. I want to know about Jacob Toby. Somebody talk to me about Jacob Toby, please.
Who's
All
Jacob
right.
Toby?
Jacob Toby used to work for the Spurs as their announcer.
Oh, that guy.
And he decided the player's sister was more attractive than the girl he was dating, and the girl he was dating outed him, and now there's a vacancy for announcing. at
fired
the
his
Spurs.
ass.
He decided she was more attractive than his big paycheck from the Spurs. Okay,
Ultimately, he did.
Because they.
Well, if he was single, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but because he was dating the chick and she outed him, then it became a big deal.
Well, and then he put up a tweet too. Yes, it's true. Here I am with
So he
the
got
girl I've been
fired
cheating.
Should he?
For
Here I
dating.
am cheating with the girl that there's the sister of what's his name, Lindley,
One of the players.
Lindy, what?
Yeah,
Whatever.
but
Anyway,
and she's going to dump him eventually. He's going to lose his job and the chick.
Wait, should he have been fired?
I don't think so.
Fraternizing.
I mean, I guess an HR thing, fraternizing.
It's
with
outside of the workplace.
But he wasn't married to the girlfriend. They were together for 6 years.
Yeah,
The person he was with wasn't with anybody, as far as I know.
he didn't put a ring on it.
she did not work for the Spurs, so
Yeah.
he was not fraternizing with a co-employee.
Right. Sorry,
He was,
sorry.
he was dating the player's sister, right?
He was messing
player's-
around with the player's sister.
Player's
he's messing
sister.
around.
He was cheating with her. Seems to me that's an issue between he and his girlfriend, not he and his employer.
Yes.
Nah, it's not
That's right.
cheating.
Nah,
It's
nah.
not cheating if it's just a girlfriend.
Fafo.
I'm so-
Fafo.
yeah, I tend to agree. I don't think he
Fafo.
should have been fired.
But it is cheating. If he's in a yes,
not
if
in the eyes of the Lord. You're not married. You're not married. You're just sinning. There's a difference between cheating and sinning.
Fafo, Jimmy. Fafo.
Thank God we got to go. Back in a minute, KTSA.
Hi, this is Bob Webster from my friends out at Tanks a Lot in Bernie. With
Okay, I want to start with some quick hits this morning, go through some stories really quickly now, and get some information in your brain as you are driving in or whatever you're doing. Let me start with this. One of the reasons that President Trump might be treading very carefully with Iran right now is that the word is on the street. Let's just put it that way. The word is out, running around a little bit, that they have loaded up Cuba with a whole lot of drones. And that's one of the reasons why we've been turning the power off in Cuba. They had their third major all-island blackout 2 days ago, where all the power gets shut down across the entire island. We're doing that, okay? Don't misunderstand. Don't think we're not doing that, because we're trying to make it very difficult for them to launch, apparently launch some attacks against our own oil infrastructure. These guys love attacking oil infrastructure. The Iranians know how to do that. They attacked some more last night in some of their neighboring states. So if this is true that they have Iranian drones in Cuba right now, if they do launch any strikes against our stuff in the Gulf or along the Texas Gulf, any of the Gulf coast, as a matter of fact, from Florida all the way to Texas, if they do any of that, they're going to get a bag of stuff dropped on their front porch. I guarantee.
I imagine. I was kind of having the same thought. I think that happened, the last blackout happened when I was off on Tuesday around that time. So I was thinking, that's kind of interesting how their power grid keeps going off like that.
We shut off all the oil.
Right.
And so they only produce 40% of the oil that they need on a daily basis to keep the lights turned on. We shut off all the other oil. So we're making it tough on Cuba right now, and we say it's because of regime change we're trying to bring about in Cuba and all that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. If the drone story is true and Cuba is loaded up with drones from Iran to attack our oil infrastructure in the Gulf of America and along the American coast, that's going to be a big problem. And
would
Trump
it be
ain't going to have it.
surprising if we found out that? No, it wouldn't be surprising.
No, of course not. Well, I mean, Khrushchev and the whole Cuban Missile Crisis and everything else. So for years they wanted to do that.
Cuba's been a launching pad for bad guys for a long time.
Sure. Weekly unemployment claims from January through July of this year under El Presidente Donald John Trump, the lowest since 1968 and 1969. That would be Easy Rider, The Summer of Love. If you're going to San Francisco where flowers in your hair, that would be Vietnam, where it was much more difficult in Vietnam because we were shipping out hundreds of thousands of young men. And so the numbers, it's much more difficult now to reach those numbers than we did back then. It sure defies the narrative that AI is killing jobs, which has been the narrative out there because it's just not true. There's been no media coverage on this. ABC on our own station is not talking about it. Another reason for this is border security. But another reason is Donald Trump is creating more jobs in America, so more people are going to work at higher salaries. Go ahead.
Oh, I think the jobs that AI is killing are jobs that some kind of technology was going to kill at some point anyway. Like Amazon laid off a whole bunch of people, and I've actually been able to see that with my own eyes with the stuff that I do with Amazon.
Well, what Amazon and the others have been doing, they've been too fat, and they've been too fat in the upper echelons. So those guys have been carrying dead weight around in those tech companies, especially in the management. And so they're now starting to get rid of some of those people.
So, I mean, those jobs are going to go away one way or the other anyway.
They're done. So here's Pete Navarro.
So we're going to get $3.6 billion in San Antonio, 2,000 jobs direct, another 20,000 because of the supply chain effects and the multiplier effects. And this is going to be the first. You're going to see Hyundai, you're going to see Honda, you're going to see Nissan. Everybody's going to come here because of those factors.
I also said yesterday that it might have been the day you were off. Anyway, we talked about how the rest of the economies of the world are slowing down. They're growing at a much slower rate. There's a global slowdown. The only country in Europe that's above 1% growth is the UK. 1% stinks even, and that's the only. The rest of them, like France, is at 0.7% growth.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Okay,
yeah.
So the rest of them are really slow growth. The United States is almost tipping right at 3%, which is pretty outstanding. And two of the major reasons: the investment in tech, like I talked about yesterday, and energy production is blowing the doors off here.
Well, he's right when he says we're the hottest country in the world.
We are.
He's making us the center of the economic universe, which we already sort of were.
Yes.
But we were carrying a bunch of people along with us.
That's right.
And he's just reorganizing the entire global economy with us at the center of it.
The way it was we were relying on manufacturing everywhere else, but here we had offshored so much manufacturing.
We also,
and he's opened up the floodgates, and, man, we are building plants in this country everywhere. And Toyota I mentioned this last week, that Tacoma factory from down in Mexico is coming here to San Antonio.
Right.
That's $4 billion. That's more than 2,000 jobs. But as I said the other day, and Pete Navarro just backed that up. In fact, I'll play that again real quick. It's not just the 2,000 jobs that are coming to San Antonio to be a part of this thing here.
So we're going to get $3.6 billion in San Antonio, 2,000 jobs direct, another 20,000 because of the supply chain.
Right. That's the guys that have to make the dashboards, the steering wheels, the pedals, the carpet, all the stuff that goes in those Tacomas. So you're talking another 20,000 jobs outside of that. That's why unemployment is headed down in America.
I think if you're young in San Antonio and you can't find a job, you're not looking hard enough.
If you're any age.
Or any place. Or any age. Right.
48% of Americans think that capitalism is working. Only 48% think that capitalism is working. 60% 10 years ago believed that. This is according to a new poll from the Wall Street Journal. Only 12% says democracy is working. That they don't want to do the work anymore. They don't want to have to work for their money. They think they ought to just get money because they breathe air.
Well, that's why they also love communism.
Well,
socialism.
I'm getting there. Under 40% proud of American history, and 68% say that America is declining. That right there is in direct correlation to the government schools and what they teach young people and put in their heads. You can take those numbers, Sean, and you can correlate that directly with the propaganda that the government schools teaches kids.
Oh, I agree.
Capitalism
I think
doesn't
also
work.
Fold in
Doesn't work.
Again, the story that we started off with the folks online who are trying to radicalize, and enrage young people. If you're getting a steady diet at school that America sucks, and you're getting a standard agenda on these issues like transgenderism and the border and all that stuff, and then you meet a bunch of people online who are, pushing that even further into your head, that's who you're going to be.
So in the wake of Graham Plattner, you heard a lot yesterday from the Democrat media and the communist media in this country that, hey, Donald Trump's a rapist. Pete Hegseth is a rapist. In fact, Hassan Paika said yesterday that Pete Hegseth he's covered in Nazi tattoos and he's a rapist. Pete, sue the crap out of him. Take everything away from that man. Do not sit back and allow him to get away with that. So did the girls on The View. The girls on The View, they brought up Kavanaugh and Hegseth yesterday, and they went to break, and so often as they do, they came back from the break because during the break, the dozen attorneys that sit off the camera to the left said, you need to clean that mess up.
And he's in the cabinet, but I should say that Pete Hegseth... That wasn't voters, though. Pete Hegseth and Brett Kavanaugh have repeatedly denied all allegations of sexual assault. It wasn't the voters, but it was certainly the reports.
She had to read the script. That they've denied it.
But you're right. That's obviously the talking point. I think Joe Scarborough was saying kind of the same thing on that stupid show. Donald Trump should shut up with all that they're guilty of. Kind of the same idea that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear about Plattner when it's you guys. We know how you guys are.
They were all doing it.
They ought to sue every single case of libel.
Absolutely.
They absolutely should.
Now, for those on the left who hate cops and we need to defund police officers, I'll play some sound in Brooklyn, New York yesterday. This is from the top suspension of the Brooklyn Bridge. There's a woman up there, and she's getting ready to end her life.
You okay? My name is Chris. What's your name? I just want to talk. What's happening today? I want to help you. That's why I'm up here right now. I genuinely care. I do. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Amen.
It really is.
Amen.
I don't know what you're going through, but I want to understand. We have services we can get you to. The strongest thing you can do right now is accept help. I promise you, that's the strongest thing you can do.
So then they started to approach her, and they're up there with her. They're on the top of that suspension bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge. There's some more. They're talking to her. Now she attempts to jump. She's trying to jump.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, please. Please. I got you.
They grab her.
I got you. You're okay.
They're pulling her back.
You're okay. I promise.
Another one steps down in front of her.
I got you. I promise. Everything's going to be okay. You're not in trouble.
Everything is going to be okay. You're not in trouble. Thank you to all of our Leo.
I'm sorry, just very quick. The easiest thing in the world is to trash law enforcement. It doesn't require anything of you, but that's what they do. That's the kind of thing they do.
Back in a minute, Ware and Rima, KTSA. It's Friday, July 10th. Chances for rain and thunderstorms. Heavy downpours are possible today. Uh, 719, Ware and Rima, KTSA.
Well, I want to get into a story that's kind of a fun story or interesting story, but just an observation about Mr. Twiggs, young Lance Twiggs. It's kind of interesting. It was interesting to me. It doesn't mean anything, but it was interesting to me that, he's the woman in the relationship. He's the trans guy. He's the guy acting like the woman, and you see all the other pictures of him. He's trying to look like a woman or feminine. But, boy, he gets hauled before the man to give a video deposition, and he's looking awfully dude-like, isn't he? He got a tie on, man. He got a spell jacket going.
Luna.
He ain't acting like Luna when he was talking to the man, was he? So a long day of testimony, though, very long, mind-numbingly long day watching that stuff yesterday. One of the things that you and I have talked about more and more, and a lot of people are, this week and the past couple weeks, it's largely been about cruise ships. In fact, I think you brought this up maybe a week ago or so, where they have cruises that are kid-free. where you can go on a cruise and you can't bring your kids and nobody else can bring their kids and it's adults only.
I went on one last April.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're hearing more and more restaurants that are and stores, personally owned stores that are coming up with no kid policies. If you're gonna, this is an adults restaurant, so adults can have an experience.
Or a no kid hour.
No kid hours, right,
whatever. You can't bring your kids during these hours.
During these hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading yesterday about a guy in California. His name is literally UUG.
Mm-hmm.
And he owns a couple of restaurants in California, in San Francisco, South San Francisco. And he's become something of a controversial character because he posted on their social media stuff and their website that if your kids either screw up the experience of other folks in my restaurant or they damage anything in my restaurant, I will charge you as the parent of that child.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already done this.
Mm-hmm.
Kid destroyed a credit card reader, and he charged mom and dad on their restaurant bill $327, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other charges that are a little bit smaller. If the kid starts carving into the table with a knife, you're going to get a charge.
$109.
$109 for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are like $5 and $10, if the kid's like screaming or,
Well, one of them broke a teacup.
Broke a teacup.
$5.
$5. You've obviously read the story.
Yeah.
And so he's getting a lot of flack online for this.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of those things where I agree. I love kids, but you know what? People are a lot more relaxed with their kids these days. It's been going on for a while where they just let the little boogers run all over the place and do whatever they want. I see it almost every day just going to the stores around my neighborhood and going to the restaurants in my neighborhood where somebody's kid is just going nuts and mom and dad aren't doing a damn thing.
Nope.
And I if you're a business, especially if you have a restaurant and if this is a nicer restaurant where people go for a nice experience, I know if I go to a restaurant, I don't want to have to deal with your kid.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm, especially now, because a lot of the restaurants, you're paying a fair amount of money to be there.
A lot.
You're paying money. You're putting out some pretty serious bank to go to a nice restaurant or just even a mediocre restaurant these days. We talk about how freaking expensive it is just going to a McDonald's or a Subway. So if your kid is disturbing my experience, you're in a sense cheating me out of some money because I'm investing in this experience.
Mm-hmm.
And all because your little cherub can't be controlled or you don't want to control your little cherub.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Subway. I've actually been to the Subway in our neighborhood. My wife and I like to go there for lunch every now and again. And I remember we were sitting there, I don't know, a month ago or so, a couple of months ago, and there's a kid literally hanging over the bench seat into our area and kind of messing with my wife. He's like a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad aren't doing a damn thing, man. Drove me crazy.
I've had a lot of that where they hang over the back of a booth into my booth, and I'll say something to the parents. I don't care because you're exactly right. Nancy and I were at a steakhouse. This has been a few years ago, and this woman was in there with her son, and he was old enough to know better. He was about 6 or 7, Sean.
Right.
And they bring my steak out. And he comes over to my table and stands with his snotty nose right up against my table where my steak is. And I'm looking at his mama going, excuse me.
Not cool.
He's
man.
right up against, he's looking at my steak.
Not cool.
And so anyway, I asked her, the mama, I said, do you want to pay for this steak? Otherwise you need to get him back over there. But here's the thing, man. I'm all for adults-only stuff. And I love kids, but, man, parents do not control them, and if you want to, I've said this for years, if you want to see the prime example of that, go to your favorite Walmart or Target and go to the toy section. And the toys are strewn all over hell's half acre by those kids. No, they are. They're all over the aisles.
I see it at my Walmart every day.
And mom and dad don't do jack squat about it. And if you can't control your kids, you're not welcome there either. Get the hell out.
I see people.
Sorry to be a dirty old man, but that's the way I feel about it.
I'm back in get off my lawn territory, but it's like, I go into any given store in our neighborhood, whether it's the Walmart or the H-E-B, at some point you're going to see somebody's kid running around just doing whatever the hell they want to do. You know what else I see a lot of? I see people with their shopping carts. Now, maybe this is a good idea, but the kid is maybe 7, 8, 9, or 10 years of age, and they're riding around in the shopping cart like a little 4-year-old.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So
I saw a kid the other day looked like he was 15 riding around the damn
Mr.
shopping cart.
UUG, I'm for him, and I say more restaurants need to do that, and more restaurants need to have adult-only hours. You know what? I'd go to more places if they had adult-only hours.
You're not
I promise
being
you.
you're not being oppressed if you can't take your little booger wherever the hell you want to take your little booger and let your little booger do whatever they want to do.
Well, and also make sure that your little booger knows how to behave. You know, the size 13 ring on Daddy's finger in the back of the head will fix that every time.
My dad never had to hit me. All he had to do was say to me once, "Hey, if you keep acting up, we're leaving." And I kept acting up, and we left. It was a place I wanted to be. You know, we learned that stuff pretty early on. That if you're going to act up in public, we're going home. And it only had to happen to me once.
Especially if you're breaking the man's stuff. You break his credit card reader. The credit card, I have a very good friend that's in the credit card business. Those readers are not cheap. They're not cheap at all.
They're not.
So if you break a credit card reader, Mommy and Daddy need to pay for it.
I agree. He's put it right on the tab, man.
And the only place I know where you can carve your name in a table is Green Hall. Other than that, you're not supposed to carve your name in a tabletop.
Right.
And if you do that, then yes, I'm going to charge you. Jimmy, you disagree? You got that disagree look on your face.
Well, I mean, what does a kid riding in the shopping cart bother you, Sean? What does it matter?
Because
why?
He's like a teenager, and he should be walking around on his own.
Well, let him have fun. It's not affecting you. Come on.
It bothers me, James.
Old man.
I am being an old man. I don't care. It bothers me.
You can't carve your name in the table at the Dixie Chicken. They do encourage that.
What were you going to say, Elaine?
Anything?
Nothing.
Okay.
You look like you wanted to jump in the middle of this mess.
Just looking at you guys.
Oh, just one quickie. Also, Megan Rapinoe, who's a very annoying lesbian, has said that Donald Trump, with the red card phone call, interfered with the team and the USA team. And also, because they're not as politically active as they should be, like the women's leagues, they don't know how to handle politics and political things, and so that's what screwed them up.
In fact, James, she's blaming Trump for their loss.
She is.
She says the fact that he called and got the card rescinded and the player got to play, that it's Donald Trump's fault that the USA is out.
Dude,
that's what she says.
There's a lot of hetero women soccer players that I know that played college soccer, and they can't stand Megan Rapinoe.
I imagine not.
Who can?
But she also.
But these are females. They should be supporting her, and they're like, nope. They've had it with her.
Quick break. More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Guests of Ware and
Bruno Mars. Don't believe me, just watch. Because I got some Uptown Funk. I got a pocket full of it. Let me pull it out. There you go. One more time. Give it to me again. All right. Hey. Wait a minute. That's Uptown Funk featuring DJ Mark Ronson, who gets $300,000 to $500,000 just to show up at an event and mix. He makes about $80 million a year as a live DJ mixing.
But
That's
he's not
Uptown
really mixing, right? If they figured out
mixing.
beforehand.
No, he's mixing.
Yeah, Sean hates him.
He's mixing. All right, so it's Friday. It's Funky Friday at 7:34 with Ware and Rima, KTSA. And I want to start the show where I started the show this morning. And this is a warning to parents to get involved with your kids, especially their online activity. The FBI issuing a warning to kids in San Antonio and parents in San Antonio, saying that the cases of violent extremists online targeting children has increased in San Antonio over 300% in the past 2 years. They are coercing kids to do violence, not only in San Antonio, but San Antonio is one of the leaders now. They're grabbing through social media, and they're grabbing through gaming apps as well. 19-year-old yesterday was sentenced to 40 years in prison for being involved in one of these groups to rope children in. And this group 764 is just one of the many groups online who does this, and they say their plans are to cause chaos in America using children to bring down our government. This is the whole communist thing I've been talking about for decades. They create chaos in the streets to bring down our government in order to replace it with communism. There are over 500 active investigations in San Antonio right now that the FBI is looking at. And they are asking parents, please delay the open internet access for your children for as late as you can to the eldest age you can make it to before you allow them. And those of you who have already opened that door and your kids are online, be on top. That's the FBI saying this. Be on top of them. Know who they're visiting with. Know what's going on. And if you see changes in their personality or whatever, make sure you're on top of it. You talk with them because these groups are serious and they're targeting San Antonio kids.
Have you ever heard of that group?
764?
Yeah.
No.
Neither.
No, but
I
they're only one of them.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them out there.
Oh, I'm sure there's countless.
And they're going after the kids, guys, and they're getting them.
Well, if there's a 300% increase in San Antonio alone, and we got 500 cases. I mean, what must the national number be? I mean, how many?
It's got to be millions.
You can't even imagine. And what are they doing? They're building little Tyler Robinsons. They're building little Luigi Mangionis. They're building the guy that took a pot shot at Trump in Butler. I mean, they're building Thomas Crooks. They're building these kids.
What they're doing,
they're getting them when they're most vulnerable, when they're young,
sure.
And they're adolescents.
Well, first of all, like in Chicago, they're getting them out on the streets to shoot people, you know,
Right.
and so it's working in Chicago. In other places, like Raleigh, North Carolina, last week, you had 10,000 young people show up and destroy Raleigh, North Carolina.
There's
and
two groups of 5,000 kids. That's an incredible number.
Right. And so you can't do that without the internet, guys. There's no way you can pull that many kids together without the internet. Anyway, the FBI says please be on top of what your kids are doing because the number this summer is twice what it was last summer for kids. And they're going out and they're doing very violent things to other people. They're doing violent things to animals. And then eventually they're doing violent things to themselves. They're killing themselves. They're committing suicide. So please stop this. And this is the FBI putting the plead out there. I agree with them.
I mean, I'm glad they're saying it. And I think I'm glad they're putting it out there. You know, I don't know that a lot of parents are going to get the message or abide by it. I think the genie's kind of already out of the bottle, unfortunately. I mean, you brought up Australia earlier.
Right.
And, you know, they tried to ban kids of a certain age from being online. It didn't really work because the little boogers, that's my word of the day, little boogers find a way around it.
Well,
I would love to think that more parents would hear that message and would become actively involved, but I don't know if I think that's going to happen.
I don't know. They have VPNs. They have ways of getting around a law. A law's not going to work. You can't legislate this.
No.
Moms and dads who care, moms and dads who want to pay attention to what happens to their children, moms and dads who care about your own community not being burned to the ground need to be on top of this. Parents need to step forward. Now, Sean, I'm not arguing with you that they're not going to or
No, I
whatever.
don't know if they will or they
I'm not
won't,
saying that.
but, you know.
But the FBI is saying y'all need to show up, Mom. You need to show up, Dad. You need to find out what's going on with your kid, and you need to sit on top of them if they're online.
Well,
sit on them.
The other thing is this has been going on, obviously, for a long time, because how long have we been talking about random attacks on people from young people, the neighborhood takeovers? It's been a few years.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah,
It's getting worse.
And the parents themselves are distracted.
The parents themselves are sitting on the same damn thing.
Hence, the last half hour we talked about this restaurant was now charging parents, and if that's what we need to do, then that's what you need to do to get it under control. Meanwhile, talking about kids, James Tallarico, he's got some weird fascination with trans kids. I'm just telling you that, guys, because every time I hear the man talk, he talks about trans kids. He said out of his own mouth that's his number one issue is trans kids. He's got a weird fascination with trans kids. He gave kids, when he was a teacher in school, elementary teacher, he was giving kids his phone number and saying, hey, call me tonight at home. This guy's a weirdo, okay? As far as I'm concerned, you don't do that. You don't cross that line. But what makes him even weirder is he stands for what I call chopping up children, the mutilation of children. He calls it trans surgeries. In May of 23, there was a bill to ban that, and we ultimately did. Who voted against it? James Tallarico voted against banning the mutilation of children through surgery. But today, he is out campaigning with and raising money with Dr. Dustin Reed, who admitted to Fox News over and over again that this is what he did before they outlawed it in the state of Texas. They called it FTM, female-to-male surgeries, removing healthy breast tissue from little girls and then building in there a boy's or a man's chest with muscle configuration in the pectoral muscles. It is now illegal in Texas, so he says he doesn't do it anymore, but he sure did a lot of it. You can go to the website of Restora Austin Plastic Surgery, and they have pictures and a whole thing about how they're number one at taking breasts off of healthy females and building a man's chest on these females. If you want that done, we'll do it better than anybody else. And yes, he was doing it, according to his own admission, to young under 18-year-old children. If Tallarico gets in, he's going to bring that law up to overturn it and make it a mandatory thing, and this guy will be right back to doing it.
Well, I agree, and and as I said in the first hour, I think any surgeon who cuts into a healthy body, kid's body, should be arrested. But this is look, Tallarico. We're focusing on him because it mostly affects Texas, and we got to focus on him because of that reason. But this is the agenda of all of these people.
Of course it is.
They're all obsessed with kids. The drag queens and the libraries and all that crap, the books, all that stuff. It's to get into the heads of the young. You can tie it into the story we were just talking about.
Well, and so yesterday I was talking about how he and Beto have teamed up to go out and do a sign people up for register for vote. Right. And the number one group on their list is the drag show, right? So you're absolutely right. This is a Democrat thing. Joe Biden was the one who told us if a 10-year-old comes up and wants to have transition surgery, we ought to make that perfectly, and taxpayers should pay for it,
Absolutely.
Joe Biden said. And here's my warning, and you're right. We're in Texas, so I'm preaching this message. I'm preaching this message to Texans because people right now. There are people in your universe right now who are going to vote for this guy, and you have got to tell them what this guy is about because he's lying, and the media, whether it's your local television stations in San Antonio or in Austin or in Houston, it's your local paper in San Antonio, it's the Texas Tribune, it's all the others. They're lying about this guy. He is all about, let him tell you what he wants to do with guns. This is him about guns.
Assault weapon ban, large capacity magazine ban, I think restricting, large firearm purchases. I think we should even start to think about, handgun design, safety standards.
James Tallarico wants to come after the Second Amendment. He's made that perfectly clear. And one of the other things that he talks about is you having to apply to the federal government to get a license in order to buy a gun. Now, of course, you'd have to pay a fee to apply, but the federal government will decide who gets a license to buy a gun in this country and who doesn't get a license to buy a gun in this country. And so he says your rights enumerated in the Constitution are not absolute, and the government should be restricting rights. So you take that logic and you apply it to the First Amendment. You got to go to the federal government and ask if you can speak freely, or if you can go to church and worship freely, or any of the other rights that are guaranteed, enumerated in the Constitution. Now, that doesn't make them rights anymore. That makes them government permission, and that is the definition of communism.
Well, the country is under assault right now, and all these issues we're talking about tie into the same evil plot. I was reading about this guy in Michigan, El Sayed. You've brought him up before. Medicare for all, right? No costs, no deductibles, no co-pays, none of that stuff. Oh, and by the way, trans surgeries need to be covered, and gender-affirming care for kids needs to be covered. It's all the same plot. It's all part of the same evil plot. And Tallarico is a soldier in that war, man, and he wants to bring it here to Texas.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Which, if if he becomes senator, it's for the whole United States.
Yeah,
and he will be about it, guys. He will be about that. You have to know that, and you got to tell your friends. Because I promise you're going to go to work today with people who are going to vote for him, want to vote for him.
Oh, yeah.
And the only way they're going to find the truth is if you get it to them, because ABC ain't going to tell them the truth, and the Express ain't going to tell them the truth, and all these others ain't going to tell
Trey,
them.
according to Joy Behar, people who listen to Fox News and talk radio don't know anything. They don't get any real information from talk radio or Fox News.
Right.
They just don't know anything.
Right.
This despite the fact that if you ask any given protester who's pro-Palestinian or pro-trans why they're there at any given street theater, they have no idea.
I'll tell you what, Joy, I'd love for you to come on this show. You pick the day and you pick the time. No, seriously, you're welcome on this show any day, any time, Joy Behar, and we'll find out who knows and who doesn't know. Because I guarantee you, we will run circles around your brain. It'll be a piece of cake.
It'd take about 20 seconds.
Not even that long. More Ware and Rima coming up, KTSA. All right, it's Friday, July 10th. Chances for rain and thunderstorms. Heavy downpours possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90. And then partly cloudy Sunday and Monday. Highs near 92. 75 now, KTSA.
Good morning.
It's Funky Friday. This is Cheryl Lynn, and you just got to be real. Right, girl? Ware and Rima, KTSA.
Well, a couple of things here. I was reading about this yesterday. Maybe you guys already talked about it. I don't know. But we have now that the Plattner thing's over, we have another ex-girlfriend who came out and said that they had dated for a little while, but didn't go well. And several years later, after she'd already kind of moved on, and I think had gotten married, maybe had kids, right about the time this guy was getting ready to announce he was going to run for Senate in Maine, he sent her some messages out of the blue and was asking her about, what was in her diary, and I hope you're happy. In other words, are you going to come out and say some nasty stuff about me?
Well, the one you're talking about is Fifield, who is the one who came forward with the rape allegation.
Oh, she's the one that came.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and that's why he got on the phone as soon as he started to run. He actually hit her up by text and said, "Hey, what's in the diary?
What's in the diary?
What's
That's
in the
what I was reading
diary?"
about.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the same person.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
There's
so many of them, Trey. It's kind of hard to keep up with.
You didn't do anything bad.
Which ex we're talking about at this point?
You didn't do anything bad. It's just
what's that?
That was
He's
her.
got a harem.
He's got not a very pleased one. A very unhappy harem.
Yeah.
Also, I want to talk about Jared Isaacman. I have to tell you this. I always kind of laugh. Why, did you have that one coming up next?
Let's go. Keep going.
I have to laugh every time I see the words NASA head Jared Isaacman because that guy's ears. Have you noticed the guy's ears?
Yeah.
He's got big old ears.
And he's only 12 years old. Look at him.
He looks like he's a 12-year-old with Dumbo ears, but I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, this guy is really juicing up NASA.
Incredible.
And he was being interviewed, and they were talking. People always ask about the UFOs and UAPs and all that stuff, and he was talking about it. This was on a podcast, Jack Gordon, June 30th. And he's talking about, stuff we brought back from Mars. First off, he basically says, yeah, I believe that, we're in our lifetimes, which I do too. In our lifetimes, I think we are going to have that question answered as far as, other life throughout the universe, maybe interdimensionally, whatever it may be. We're not it. I think we're going to see that in our lifetime, which is something I never really expected to say in my lifetime. I didn't think that was something I would ever see. But he's talking about stuff they brought back from Mars. And he's, basically saying we may have he doesn't verify it. But he says we may, if it turns out to be true, we might have, living microbes that were once alive from Mars, which would mean that, there was life on Mars at some point. Microbial, I can't say the name or the word. I really do think that because Trump is the first president to really dump a lot of this stuff and to put it out there for public consumption. And I really do think we're going to get that answer in our lifetime, which is, again, I don't know if you ever expected to find out about extraterrestrial life or other forms of life beyond ourselves on this planet. I never expected to find out in my lifetime.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't give it a whole lot of thought to it until Donald Trump started to say,
Really?
putting this to it. Yeah, I really didn't think about it all that much. He said, Isaacman said, humans will conclude that other life exists.
Yeah.
It isn't infrequent. We have no proof so far, and we don't know what those microbial things are that they brought back from Mars. He said, we don't know what it is. But at some point, humans will conclude that other life exists. I believe other life exists. I believe there's other life in this room right now. You just can't see it. We call them angels. We call them demons.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that it's here. I'm just one of those guys who believes the Bible, and I believe what it says. And so you've got angels and demons around you all the time. So that's other. As far as I'm concerned, that's other life. Now, is there other life that's from another planet, like Isaacman is talking about? I'm certainly open to that. I don't know. I have no idea whether there is or not. But as far as other life is existing, I've believed that my entire life.
Right. I do think I've always felt, by virtue of the vastness of all of that, because I have done a lot of reading on the quantum stuff too, quantum physics and all that. So like the interdimensional stuff, I kind of get, would explain angels and demons and people or beings of that nature. But by virtue of just how much of that there is out there, we can't be the only planet where all of these elements would have come together to produce life on this one tiny little planet. And I'm not trying to diminish God's creation because I think God created all of it. I just think God can create all of it. Sure. So there could be other forms of life. It would make reasonable sense that we're not it.
We already know about other super Earths that have water, and so there's already other planets that can do what we do here.
Well, there could be even other forms of life that don't even operate the way we do. I mean, I've read about methane breathers and,
exactly.
Stuff like that.
We're just designed to breathe oxygen.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we were designed to breathe methane, we could survive on Venus.
Anything is possible because God is unlimited.
I concur.
But the Bible says he created angels, and the angels fell, and they became demons. And so that's a third of them were shoved out of heaven. So that's the other life that I believe in right now, that I know for sure exists. I don't know if little green men or girls or purple people, if they exist. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, but wouldn't it make sense, again, based upon how much of that is out there?
Could be.
We don't even know how big God's creation is.
No, we don't.
We make educated guesses.
We have no idea.
Based on math and bending light, how big it is, but we really don't know.
That's right. Before we run out of time, I want to talk about the wedding. The wedding.
The wedding.
The wedding.
Oh, God.
With a capital T-H-E, the wedding. $30 million is what it costs. $5 million in flowers. Man, that's a weekend for Elaine. That's $5 million in flowers. Average U.S. wedding is $34,000. They did $10 million in infrastructure to the MSG with custom draping and carpet and everything else. $3 million in catering. Entertainment was $2 million. They had, of course, guest gift bags. The economic boost to New York, they're not sure about, and Adam Sandler was the officiant. Adam Sandler.
I read that. I remember that.
Now, the other story I want to bring up, since I'm bringing up the wedding, is gray divorce. It's a new thing. It's a hot thing. It's a growing thing. It's a big trend.
Is that
I was reading about that.
Is that for old people?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is for women who have been married all of their lives, pretty much forever, and then they get older and they realize, you know what? I still got life ahead of me. I ain't going to be tied to this old man no more. The story is focused on Deborah Santana, Carlos's wife, who went through his entire career, his entire life. He's 75, and when she was 57, she said, I'm going to get out of this thing and move on. 40%, this number shocked me, 40% of all the divorces in America right now are 50 and over.
That's interesting.
That blew my mind.
Okay, what about a lot of the parents that the kids are out of college and they fulfilled their parental duties, and then they're like, you know what, let's just go have another life. The kids are fine. We got them through.
Empty nesters.
Do you think that's part of it
Could
too?
be.
Absolutely. I think that's part of it, but it's kind of sad.
It is very sad.
Very romantic. No.
Well, I mean, you've invested all that time in somebody, and now you're at the stage where you're getting old. I mean, isn't kind of the big payoff
And then you
finally growing old with that person?
Then you
know?
got to go train another one?
No,
Oh,
not
heck
me.
no.
Well, I didn't train anybody, but you know what I mean.
I
don't want to put the energy into
She
anybody
trained you.
else.
I had a friend.
Yeah.
I had a friend who used to say, when she turns 50, I'm gonna trade her in for 225s. And I, 225-year-olds. And I'd say to him, man, why do you want to train some kid? That's crazy. Just stay together, man.
I tell my wife all the time, if you cut me loose, I'll just go live in a motel room somewhere all by myself.
You won't.
I won't live. I won't want anybody else.
We'll find you under a bridge.
No. I'd find a way to make a living. No, I'd go live in a motel all by myself.
We got to go. More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Damn it, I had a good one.
You wake up every day
There's going to be some more today in the Tyler Robinson trial case. The evidentiary hearing.
Elaine's right. It's like a trial.
The whole thing about the wrangling over the testimony. And Lance Twiggs yesterday said this.
He asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family. And he asked me for if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets. And I just told him where a Dremel was and told him to make sure he doesn't set off a bullet on accident in the house. But I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember. Because he'd been talking about the hunting/camping trip for a couple months, but I don't remember when he was specifically asking to.
The gun itself, apparently, according to him in all the testimony yesterday, was his grandfather's gun.
About Charlie Kirk, did he ever talk about Charlie Kirk?
I personally had never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk before specifically.
Okay. How about political issues? So did you ever talk about gender identity issues and LGBTQ rights?
No, not really. Usually if he did talk about politics stuff, it was relating to Trump or current policies being issued or voted on.
And stuff about him being sick and tired of Charlie's, rhetoric and all that. We'll get to that in just a second. But here's some of the text messages the two shared.
Lance says, why? And Tyler says, why did I do it? And Lance says, yeah. Tyler says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. We'll update you shortly, we'll update you by midnight. And then Lance says, all right, stay safe. How long have you been planning this?
Scroll down a little bit, please, Kimberly.
And Tyler replies, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it.
So he was waiting for the police to move so he could go in and get the gun where he had allegedly stashed the gun. The next day, he was home on September 11th, back in the apartment with Lance, and he was apparently, according to Lance yesterday, was walking around crying,
pacing,
and saying he wished he would not have done it. So all of the things that were presented in public yesterday point directly toward guilt. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that was exactly what happened yesterday. His guilt was solidified in my mind.
Well, I mean, the moment where he said he was walking around saying he wished he hadn't done it, people who wish they hadn't done something actually probably did something, right? That's the only reason he would be sorrowful that you did a thing. Some of the texts we'd already seen. I know when this first happened, they were, had been published. The part that kind of got me with the testimony that I found interesting is that your boyfriend comes up to you and says he wants a drill to be able to cut words into bullets to go hunting. He wants to put words on bullets to shoot a squirrel or a pheasant? To me, I would have gone, why do you want to put words on bullets to go hunting? That seems like an odd thing to want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. And what he meant by hunting was hunting Charlie Kirk.
Well,
obviously,
he meant
that's what he meant.
He said he was going on a hunting trip with his family, but he needs to put words on bullets.
That actually came up yesterday on some of the commentary on Fox because they were saying that makes Lance a little culpable.
Well,
but there was so much of this, like what you're saying, there's so much of this that was said yesterday about how, Lance had seen enough where he should have called somebody, he should have gotten involved somehow. That's why they gave him limited immunity in this, because they were going to drag him in and go, dude, you knew about this. You knew this was coming, and you didn't do anything about it.
I didn't see the commentary, but I mean, that came when I heard the testimony. I saw the video. I'm like, that doesn't seem like a red flag to you, son.
And the other thing that came up as far as bullets, the other stuff that came up as far as being red flags, when they showed him walking on the campus, and he's obviously got a stiff leg. Does not somebody who's walking, and all these students are passing him, does not somebody go, That's really weird. He's got his glasses on. He's got his hat pulled down. He's walking with a stiff leg. You all right, man? What's happening there? That kind of thing. And there was talk about that, too, as to why some of the students didn't stop
My
it.
pushback on that is that people don't take notice of what's going on around them, especially young people. I've seen a few studies on that where they test people's awareness, and they're just not aware of what's going on around them.
So the note that was left underneath the keyboard, of course,
Yeah.
the note that was left underneath the keyboard was exposed yesterday as one of those things that was not supposed to be exposed, and it was exposed. But the thing about that was it had already been out. We had already seen that note. We knew it. We know what he said in that note. And so by them showing it yesterday, I don't think they changed the course of the case at all, because the contents of that had already been out there.
Those are the first things we saw, if I remember correctly, in the days afterwards.
Yeah, he had told Lance to go look under the keyboard, and I did it.
They messed up.
Huh?
They messed up. I stand by it.
Now, you say they messed up because they did more of a trial, and it was public, it was on camera.
The judge messed up. The prosecution messed up. Even though the defense did object, and their objections were overruled, they did not afford a proper hearing for this defendant.
So what you're saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so just correct me. What you're saying is this case is done, that his rights have been violated, and
yes,
mistrial perhaps. I mean, when they actually get to trial, or before they even get there.
A trial. They're gonna plea him out.
Well, I think they're gonna do that.
Let's plea him out, get the death penalty off the table. He goes to prison, and there's no trial.
Well, that's what I said when we started this morning, was he's got two options at this point. Number one is a plea deal to keep him from getting shot, because they do that in Utah.
They have a firing squad. Yeah.
Remember Gary Gilmore in 1977?
The executioner's saw Norman Mailer.
He was the last one. I had to report on that one. It was in K-Buck in 1977 because they did it on a Saturday, and I was on the air. And they did him right in the chest.
If Elaine's right, isn't that going to save taxpayer money for people in Utah by not having a lengthy trial and just plea out?
Yeah, but I would be for the execution. But anyway,
maybe
they're going to plea it, and then the other option is, and this is a long shot for the defense, is to say he was trying to impress Lance. He had a girlfriend who was a boy, and he was trying to impress her.
Maybe maybe they already know it's pretty much going to head to a plea. That's why they want to get it out there.
What does that have to do with his fingerprints and video evidence? He was trying to impress her. You still killed somebody.
There was overwhelming evidence, and it was treated like a trial. It was not a preliminary.
But he's not going to. But he's not going to get off. Charges are not going to be dropped.
Right.
No, he will not get off.
Yeah. Death penalty will be taken off the table.
Yeah,
it's all about the death penalty.
I think that's what's going to happen.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, let's go to prison justice. There's a lot of people that convert and find God in prison that probably like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but they're not the killing kind. They're not. They're not. They're not the killing kind. But you never know. I mean, I think that's correct. I think they're going to plea this deal out if the judge decides to have a trial. Keep in mind, it's up to him.
Yeah.
This is a rookie. This judge was impaneled in May of this year, and it shows in everything he says. I know. Put somebody like that in charge of this.
On a case like this, why would you want an inexperienced judge?
You want an old man or an old woman who's been in there for a long time who knows the ins and outs of what these attorneys are going to pull and do.
Right.
And this guy doesn't. He's green behind the ears and everywhere else.
I read his bio. He's proficient. He is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then he needs to start being proficient in front of everybody, because he's not doing it so far.
Yeah.
For me, I don't really. I mean, whatever happens to Tyler Robinson happens to Tyler Robinson. I mean, for me, what's more troubling is the question: how many Tyler Robinsons are out there? This is what we've been talking about this all day. We keep going back to these 500 open cases in San Antonio alone of online radicalization or encouraging violence. Obviously, that's what happened to this kid, Tyler Robinson, because prior to fairly recently, he wasn't this guy. He wasn't somebody, Mormon family, he wasn't somebody that was political. Okay, somebody got to him. It got to him, the culture or whatever, the online stuff. how many Tyler Robinsons and Luigi Mangionis are really out there. I mean, that's the part that kind of takes your breath away.
So, and that's why I started the show that way, Sean, because this is the biggest story of our age, and we're all wrapped up in Graham Plattner and all this other crap that we focus on, and we're not focusing on the real issue, which is what's happening to our children and the brains of our kids. And that's why I firmly believe, number one, you got to look at all these medications that all these kids have been put on for everything in the world, these made-up diseases, many of them made-up diseases, from Big Pharma to put these kids on these medications. And there is a direct link between many of these SSRIs and what these kids do when they go into these schools and shoot them up.
We've talked about that for years.
Absolutely.
That they find that as a connecting factor almost all the time, that they're on some kind of psychotropic or inhibitor.
But in the past few years, the trans community of these young people have been weaponized against people of faith and others. And so they're going out and they're killing people of faith. And Charlie Kirk was the biggest person of faith that this country has seen since Billy Graham.
And they're all writing words on bullets.
Of course they are.
They're all doing that. So,
Do you remember the guy that shot the ICE agent? Was it Houston?
No, it was Dallas. Absolutely right.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's right.
Well, they're all doing it. And so, in fact, they showed the guys from Iran yesterday who were launching missiles. They're all signing their bombs. It's been something that's been going on forever. Our guys have signed bombs that we dropped on Japan. So
this is dark and peculiar, though. These are young people who are carving words into bullets. So obviously, if you're going to do that, there's some kind of ideology attached to it. There's some kind of political or cultural motivation. It's just, you wonder just how many of them are sitting out there in dark little rooms staring at their computer and are thinking about doing the same damn thing.
Well, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
John,
a lot.
There's a lot. There could be millions of them in this country. And so one of the things that he carved on there, allegedly, all of this is alleged, were noticing the bulge. This is a tranny thing, okay?
It's a furry tranny.
Furry sex joke. Hey, fascists, catch. Ciao, ciao, bye-bye. If you read, period, this, period, you are gay. So those are the things that he was, putting on these, and they use a drum.
Well, that's the same kind of stuff. Right. The kid that shut up the synagogue school, the same thing. The trans guy that did that. I mean, they're being encouraged to do that specifically.
Right. To deliver a message.
To deliver a message.
In fact, Lane just brought up the ICE shooting in Dallas, and that was F-ICE, ICE out, F-ICE out, all those things that you see on those professional signs that are made when they have these protests. They're putting them on the bullets and shooting at ICE agents. So
that's the one where they actually accidentally shot the immigrants.
Yeah.
The one in Dallas.
Yeah.
And he was on the roof of an immigration lawyer building.
Across the street.
Yeah, there was so much irony in that.
There is.
And then blowing himself away the way he do. Man, them pictures were ugly. That was a serious gun there. All right, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA, chances for rain and thunderstorms. Heavy downpours possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90, and then partly cloudy Sunday and Monday, 92. 77 now, KTSA. Friday.
Happy Friday. Got any plans for the weekend?
No.
I don't either. Isn't it lovely? Well, just a couple of things here that were bouncing around my cranium. The Department of Homeland Security has announced that when it comes to preparation monies, federal grants to prepare, your state for whatever natural disaster and anything that you may want to prepare for in regards to FEMA, which is a part of the Department of Homeland Security. When you're, applying for these grants, and it's billions of dollars at play here, according to what I'm reading, you're going to have to show that you are doing a lot of the stuff that the Save America Act would have you do at the state level, which is election security measures, voter citizenship verification through that SAVE program, post-election audits, paper ballots. If you want FEMA money, now this is not in response to an actual disaster. This is the stuff you would ask for to prepare for something that could happen. You're not going to get that money unless you, again, participate in this program of making sure your elections are on the up and up. And I think that's a good thing.
It's great.
I think it's great. That's how you get the attention of the states, right? We've talked about that a lot on this show, even at the city level. You start cutting off, or the university level, public university, you start cutting off the money river, and suddenly people start paying attention and doing what you want them to do.
And what's going to happen, I think, these Obama judges that are in there that's been talking about that, looking at this case, I think they're going to try to shoot that down and say you can't withhold that money.
Of course they will. Yeah.
And the Supreme Court doesn't come back until the first Monday in October. The election's November 3rd.
Right.
We'll see.
We'll see. But I read about that yesterday. I'm like, that sounds like a good idea. If they're not going to go forward with passing this damn thing anyway. I also thought the Spain going back and forth with Spain yesterday was kind of interesting. It wasn't the first time in Turkey that Trump started calling out Spain and Pedro Sanchez specifically for not helping us out, when it was going into Iran, not paying what they're supposed to be paying out of their gross national product to NATO, to their NATO membership. Let's see. They were. He was calling him all kinds of names, saying, "I'm really unhappy." This is Trump in Turkey. I'm really unhappy with Spain, and Spain's not, hasn't been working with us at all. And he basically threatened to cut off all trade with Spain, which they need us more than we need them, apparently. And I guess they've decided that they will, after all, pay whatever the percentage is of their gross domestic product to for their membership in NATO. So it's the Trump effect.
When he was in Turkey, he was sitting there with Mark Root, and it was live at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he did it. I played it on the air. He's sitting there and he goes, "Everybody's been doing fine. They all stepped up, with the exception of Spain." And he turns to Bissett, and Marco was sitting right next to him, and he tells Bissett, "Cut off all trade now."
That's what he said.
I don't even want you talking to them. Just cut it off. And so Pedro yesterday goes, "Okay, we'll pay.
We're sorry, Mr. Trump. We'll pay.
We pay you."
Well, and he'd been talking crap about Spain for a while. The last time he met with Root, he was talking bad about Spain.
Well, see, everybody else, he got everybody else to step up, and Spain said, "No, we're not stepping up." And so he said, "I'm done with you guys."
Yeah.
And so it was great because he's like, "I'm done with these guys," and so just cut off all trade. Just cut it off.
Turn the spigot off.
I mean, made the decision on worldwide television.
However the Iran thing shakes out, whatever we end up doing, which I absolutely believe Trump when he says no nuclear weapon, no control over the strait, because those are pretty much the two sticking points. No nuclear weapon, no control over the strait. I honestly believe he's going to pull that off. But if you look at all the stuff that he's done around this, do you know what I mean? As far as reorganizing the global economy as he has. And he's right when he says that we're the hottest country, which the way I interpret that is we are returning, if you will, to the economic center of the universe for planet Earth. It's going to be really hard for the people who write the history books to lie their asses off to the extent that you can't credit this guy with really literally changing the world, which is what he's doing.
That's exactly right. And so what's going to happen is when he's gone, they're going to go right back to flipping it back to the way it was. And so that's one of the reasons I've been so strong and bullheaded about him replacing the regime in Iran. Because if you get a different regime in there, if you get a true democracy in there with the Shah's son, let's just put him back in there, then you're going to have a much better future. And it doesn't matter what Obama does. Remember, Obama's much younger. What is he, 64?
Yeah,
I think he's 64. Yeah. So long after Trump is gone, Obama's still going to be around wrecking this country, doing all he can to wreck it.
Yeah, you're right. And Iran obviously is going to play a big part in that as far as the global economy. And it's like you have to get a prosperous Iran, a democratic Iran in place so it takes root. Do you know what I mean? So people begin to live the benefits of that. So it makes it, I think, less likely that a group of fanatics are going to be able to take over the country.
That's right, and I think what's going to happen is they'll start living that very soon. It probably could happen before Trump ever leaves office. If you get a regime in there now,
right,
they could start to realize the beautiful prosperity, as Trump would put it, immediately. That's not something that's 10, 20 years down the road. That's something that could start happening right now. And the other thing you're going to see, if that regime goes, you're going to see a lot of people sign up on the Abraham Accords. You're going to see a rush to the Abraham Accords. All these guys like Syria, he took them off a terrorist state yesterday.
I was reading about that. Yeah, they've been there for a long time.
Turkey, all these other countries are going to look seriously at the Abraham Accords if they don't have to worry about the nut jobs in Iran anymore.
Well, and that's what Trump does, though, peace through prosperity. The idea that, if you get away from your civil war, you get away from this particular regime, you get away from doing this and that, okay, your country working with us will make crap loads of money. And you'll be prosperous again. He was talking about Syria yesterday when he pulled them off that list. Once a very prosperous country, and again, they can be. So,
well, that's why you have to have regime change, because these guys don't care. They're making money for themselves. They have all the money in the world. The guys in Iran.
Oh, sure.
The guys who head up the regime, they have all the money in the world. They don't care about the people. They kill their people. 58,000 in 2 months. So it's a matter of having a complete and total regime change there, just like you had to have it with World War II and Hitler. You got to have it with these guys so that you can have their people can realize all that prosperity, but you can also have somebody there that everybody else can live with in that neighborhood.
Well,
they can't live with them.
They're also religious fanatics, so they don't really care.
What's the point?
I heard Pags talking about caring if they live or die because they get the reward.
The point?
Yeah, so you got to get rid of them because you're never going to be able to negotiate with that.
Absolutely not. They will not. I've said it a million times. They are sticking there until all the Jews are dead, so their Mahdi comes.
Right.
Well, the thing is, you got to kill them first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to wipe the board clean.
You've got to get rid of that administration and put a democracy in there if you want to have true change happen. Let me tell you about our friends over at Bjorn's. At Bjorn's, they are the home technology experts, and they have been for over 51 years now right here in San Antonio, taking care of your home technology needs, whatever those needs are. I'm talking about stadium experience TVs, big TVs, small TVs, little TVs, TVs behind the mirror in the bathroom. They can do it all. That's right. Absolutely. They got everything when it comes to TVs. They got everything when it comes to indoor and outdoor audio as well. Some of us have those ugly old speakers that are hanging on the back of our homes and stuff like that. You don't have to have that anymore. No, because with Bjorn's, they can have wireless speakers all over your backyard. If you got a pool, if you got a cookout area or whatever, and it's going to look great, and it's going to sound even better than it looks. They do custom home technology of all kinds with home theaters and whole home automation. Your home can be totally prepared and work on its own. You can have vacuum cleaners that go off by themselves, floor cleaners that will clean the floor for you. You can have lights that come on when you want them to come on and go off. You can have AC that goes up and down. I mean, it's incredible what they can do with whole home automation and home networking as well. So go by and see them. They got a beautiful state-of-the-art showroom at 281 in Bitters Road. Your home technology experts are at Bjorn's, just Bjorn's.
News Talk 550.
Funky Friday, y'all. It's 8:33. We are Ware and Rima, KTSA. I'm going to do some quick hits for you now, baby. Some quick hits.
Quick hits.
They opened up the border during the Biden-Obama years, which was 20 through 25. And, of course, we had a whole bunch of criminal illegal aliens come across the border. James Tallarico has said, if you vote for me, then I'm going to put a big old welcome mat out at the border, and we're going to do this all over again. We're going to make sure that as many people who want to come in here can come in here and take all the jobs. That was part of the problem why Americans weren't getting jobs and our salaries were being suppressed. It's because we had a bunch of foreigners in here. In fact, Microsoft with Xbox just yesterday blew out 1,600 American workers because they got a bunch of H-1B visas, and they're going to allow these guys from foreign countries to come in and work on the El Cheapo. So, but other than that, they just go around raping and killing people like a little 9-year-old special needs girl.
Hampshire man is accused of snatching a 9-year-old girl off her bike and sexually assaulting her. Police say this happened last Friday afternoon in Pine Grove. Investigators say Janio Velázquez Muro grabbed the girl from her bike and forced her into a car. Velázquez Muro was arrested after an extensive investigation that included surveillance video and neighborhood canvases. He will stay in jail until his next court date.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Mr. Janio Velázquez Muro. He came in 2022 during the Biden-Obama years and the open border policy. He has had other run-ins with the law for similar incidences, and in this case, there was a 9-year-old special needs girl who was doing what? She was riding her bicycle in the streets of her city. That's all she was doing in her neighborhood. Right. And he comes up, allegedly, and knocks her off her bicycle and drags her to a car and rapes her in the car. That's what we're talking about.
Well, we're also talking about the Australian national who was discovered in Louisiana to have voted in 2 presidential elections.
But it doesn't happen.
But that doesn't happen,
right? It doesn't happen. And then there is a Guyanese illegal who firebombed 2 churches in Queens. And when he was caught, and he's an illegal alien from Guyana, he said, yeah, I effing did it. So they're bombing churches in the United States of America, and they come into the country illegally. We found out that federal law enforcement is going to stop 16 times as many people on the FBI watch list at the border this year than at any time during the Biden administration. All you needed was a new president. They didn't pass new law. They didn't do any of that. What Alejandro Mayorkas, the criminal.
Oh, that guy was a piece of crap, man.
Right.
What a lying piece of crap that guy is.
He said we needed new laws. We couldn't do anything. No, we're doing it. We've shut it down. And the border, once again, is under control. So at least for a little while, Sean, our girls and our wives are safer than they were back during the 4 years. However, again, I'll bring this back to Tallarico. We're going to talk a lot about him in the next few months.
I know. Oh, yeah.
He said that the border should be treated like your front door of your house. It should be open, and there should be a giant welcome mat at the border. Come on in. I guess Mr. Tallarico is good with a guy coming in here illegally and knocking a 9-year-old off her bike and raping her in a car. I guess he's all right with that.
Yes, he is. They all are. I mean, I and I know why we're focusing on Tallarico again. You know, this is a Senate race here in Texas. But I was looking at the chick from Colorado, the Democrat socialist. She's also another open borders person. That Chevalier chick out in New York, same thing. They all are open borders people.
100%.
And I'm kind of with Jessica Gorman from the other week. You know, they don't worry about it as long as their family, they don't have to pony up any one of their family members to these monsters.
And the reason I keep focusing on him, obviously, and you keep saying it, is because we can't do anything about Chevalier, can't do anything about the girl up in Colorado. But we sure as hell do something about Tallarico.
No, absolutely.
And as long as we have a voice, we're going to do something about Tallarico, and that is expose the demon from hell that is James Tallarico. Because there are people that you will interact with today that want to vote for this guy, and he is absolutely a demon from hell who wants to destroy this country from the inside.
I can honestly tell you that the people that I know that are going to vote for a guy like that are some of the most low-information people you could possibly
100%.
ever meet.
But our listeners will interact with them at a coffee pot or at a restaurant and places like that, and you need to know what kind of guy this guy is. He thinks in order to be able to buy – listen closely, guys. To be able to buy a gun, you have to get a license from the federal government. You know, pay a fee, and the government then decides whether or not who gets a gun in the United States of America. So if you carry that logic forward, because he said all of your rights should be restricted. He said none of them are absolute. So if that's the case, then you ought to get a license to free speech. You ought to get a license to go to church. You ought to get a license for this, that, and other. And then they're not rights. They're permissions from the government, which is what the Soviet Union and all the other places like China do every day.
Well, sure. And, what is applying for a license from the U.S. government? You're basically having to make an argument for why you should be able to enjoy your God-given right. Remember, you go back in the day when it was couldn't shut up about red flag laws and stuff like that. I forget which state it was. It was a state back east where you actually had to go and make an argument for why you needed a certain kind of weapon in your life. I don't think it lasted long, but I remember that going on. So, if you read the Anarchist Cookbook, if you read Marx, if you read any of this stuff, you know that there are two things you have to accomplish. Well, three things. First, you have to tear down all the old institutions, including marriage, institution of marriage, the nuclear family, which they've been at for a long time, so you can replace it with something else that you want, in its place.
It's communism.
Communism. You also have to disarm the public. Now, you're not ever going to be able to, in America, kick open the doors and just take them, but you can, through this kind of crap, basically disarm people. Because he's talking about assault weapons too, right? Well, magazine capacity, all that stuff.
You can't get rid of the Second Amendment, and he knows that. But you can gut it.
You can dilute it.
You can, because what his argument is, and they've all made these arguments. Joe Biden is one of his favorite sayings: "Your rights are not absolute."
Right.
So when the Second Amendment says "shall not be infringed," that doesn't mean it shall not be infringed. What it means is the government can't infringe.
Right.
How you get there, you got to twist this thing in all kinds. And what he says is, well, it says well-regulated militia, so we're going to regulate your guns. So that's what he says and how he gets there.
Well,
that's how they get to all these things.
Oh, yeah, and the third thing, of course, is get into the minds of the young and get people as, when they're kids, get them indoctrinated.
And when you're talking about going and making your case for a gun, that's California, and you still have to do it. You still have to make a case as to why you should.
I think that might have been what I was talking about.
You
still have to make an argument for why you need the gun.
That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Rick Perry got a lot of things right for Texas, and Texans rewarded him. He was the longest sitting governor in the state of Texas. He got some other stuff wrong, and this is one of the things that he got wrong.
I have Texans on that border that are doing their job. But if you say that we should not educate children who have come into our state for no other reason than they've been brought there by no fault of their own, I don't think you have a heart.
So what he was pushing at the time, and it was a law, it's 25 years old when he was governor, a law to give in-state tuition to illegal aliens.
Right.
And so what was happening was that, American citizens would come to Texas to go to school, and they were paying a crap ton more than illegal aliens who were residing here in the state of Texas because we were giving in-state tuition to them. Federal court yesterday said, no, you can't do that, Texas. You can't do that anymore.
Well, good.
So, right on. That's exactly right.
I agree with that one.
That's right. A couple of lighter stories, everybody. Let me lighten the load before we make the break. An India cattle herder was out with his cattle, and the next thing he sees is a gigantic, and I do mean she was big, lioness come up and jump on him.
Indiana?
India.
Oh, India.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And sitting on him, and then she begins to maul him and bite him.
That would hurt.
Yeah. So he reaches up and very smartly starts to pet her like you would a kitten. And he starts talking to her like a kitten. She quits mauling him. She gets up and walks off.
Hey, man, a cat's a cat.
Scratch behind the ears and they're
I'm
happy.
sorry, man. They're all the same critter, just some are really big, okay? A cat's a cat,
that's
man.
That's right. Scratch behind the ears and they'll be fine.
I'm not surprised by that.
I've seen that with cougars.
Cougars, but you got to have you. Oh, see how you are.
I had to buy their. I had to buy their tab.
She's talking about the cougars over at the Alamo Heights.
Cougars.
The Alamo Heights.
Yeah, that's the ones I had to buy their tab so I could pet them.
The Alamo Heights swimming pool.
Oh, God.
You could pet them behind the ears, Jimmy.
I know, and then they purr.
I tell you what, if y'all go to the Alamo Heights swimming pool, y'all will see cougars buying wine for young men all day long today.
Well, they ain't buying it for me anymore, so I don't care.
Well, you're not young.
No, I used to be.
Yeah.
They're not
The most expensive
back in the day.
The most expensive fast food in America. Anybody want to take a shot at the most expensive one?
Oh.
Most
Chick-fil-A?
expensive
fast food.
No.
Hamburger?
Well, it's just okay. Say hamburgers, but the most expensive place to get fast food.
It's a chain.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fast food. Fast food change.
In-N-Out? I don't know.
No, not In-N-Out.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'll go Whataburger.
No.
I'm going to say McDonald's.
No, well, they're on the list. It's $16 for Big Mac, fries, and a Coke.
I have
McDonald's.
experienced that, yeah.
Jack in the Box is $14. Let's just say burger, fries, and a Coke. Jack in the Box is $14. BK is $20.
Burger King?
Yeah. Shake Shack is $21.99. The most expensive in America, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Come on, somebody drum roll.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Wendy's.
Nope.
No way.
Five Guys.
Wow,
Guys.
really?
Guys.
$23 for
I've still never had a Five Guys.
I've never been
burger.
there.
Yeah.
Their fries are actually good.
Okay,
Are they?
fries. How's the burger? Since it's $25 whatever dollars.
Yeah, that thing needs to kiss you on the lips for that, right?
$25?
$23.
$23
for a burger, fries, and a drink.
Are the fries better than McDonald's, though?
Oh, much.
Oh,
They're the
really?
fresh cut. They're the fresh cut potatoes.
$23 damn dollars.
See,
That's
Jimmy, there's a
insane.
reason for that.
Well, it might be the beef tallow.
That's exactly what it is. It's right off my face and onto your French fries. Let me tell you about our friends over at New Bath Today. At New Bath Today, they will build you an entire brand new bathroom. It's going to look great, that is going to serve you well, so you can stay in your home safely for many years to come. New Bath Today. They used to be called Safe Showers, and I used to tell you about them all the time, where they build these safe showers with a low step-up entry, a non-slip floor, beautiful fixtures, grab bars if you want them, all the cool stuff, and you don't have to worry about mold and mildew because, no, there's no grout to worry about. That's a safe shower, but now they're New Bath Today because they do the entire bathroom for you, everything. They'll even put that non-slip flooring throughout the entire bathroom. They'll do new cabinets, they'll do new, countertops and sinks and as much or as little as you want. That's what New Bath Today will do for you, like a vanity area, huh? Something like that? Okay. If you're ready to move forward with something like that, I want you to know that they got a great deal for you. Right now, qualified buyers can get $0 down, 0% interest, and no payments for 24 months. You can have your New Bath Today put in right now and enjoy it for the next 2 years using their money. How's them apples sound to you? Or if you're not ready to move forward right now, they'll give you a free quote today, and that quote is good for a year. So you come back a year later and say, okay, I'm ready. They're going to honor today's prices, even though you know the prices are going to go up over the next year or so. So check them out online, mention Trey Ware, and get that free no-obligation quote from newbathtoday.com. Chances for rain and thunderstorms, heavy downpours possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90. Partly cloudy on Sunday and Monday with highs about 92. 77 right now at KTSA.
Just one quick pick-me-up from the last, talking about the most expensive fast food places. Okay, and I didn't think about this during the break, but we go to Burger Boy a lot. Their prices are fantastic. You get a bait special. It's a single burger, fries, and a drink for $8.99. I get the working man, which is a double burger. It's under $11, and by today's standards, that's a good price. So yay, Burger Boy.
I know you talk about them on the radio a lot.
I love Burger Boy.
I'll tell you what, man. When they were called Whopper Burger back in the day, and they were so good. And they built one right around it. Now they sold to a big national chain like Whataburger did.
Right.
They sold to a big company. But they built one around the corner from the radio station, and I go in there. I'll hit it a couple times a week.
I love Burger Boy.
It's so good, man.
We do Burger Boy at least once a week.
Well, and you get the shake.
I like getting the shake.
But vanilla shake, man, it's so. And crinkle cut French fries, Elaine.
I'm not into French fries. I think potatoes are boring as hell.
No,
but their French fries are actually really good.
Yeah, and the other one you got to try someday, Sean, is Frontier. You got to get over to
I've been to Frontier.
Have you been to Frontier Burger?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are good.
Frontier?
Better than Burger Boy.
Frontier is like top of the line.
I like Burger Boy. I like the taste of Burger Boy.
Top of the line.
I wanted to talk some more about this guy, and I just blanked, X'd out of the story by accident. First off, I was going to mention, I guess we got about a dozen GOPers in the House that are calling for the WNBA, calling for accountability over the Caitlin Clark attacks. I don't know what's going to happen with that, if anything will happen with that.
That's the letter that I mentioned yesterday.
Oh, you mentioned that? Right,
yeah, yesterday
right.
that they wrote to
right.
and said, remember when I was saying the commentators on sports radio and TV are saying the Black Lesbian League is taking in after the straight white girl? Remember that?
Right, yes, I remember now.
Well, the commissioner of the WNBA is appearing today on a couple of sports shows, so she's going to be answering those GOP questions.
Right. Again.
Is she on our guys' show? Is she going to be on with Rob?
I think she's only on Dan Patrick because I was curious to watch it today.
Okay.
I wanted to bring up the Jacob Toby story again. We talked about this earlier. This is something that's kind of catching fire around here locally, and that you got this guy who was a Spurs play-by-play guy, and it was discovered that he has a girlfriend he's been with for about 6 years. It was found that he had a relationship with one of the players' sisters, and he's been fired as a result of that. We talked about that earlier in the day. But one thing I didn't bring up when we were talking about before, and this is the thought that I had, and we were talking about at my house yesterday, in that the reason people found out, okay, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that she went into his phone and found pictures and posted as him on his social media, right? And posted pictures of him with this other woman. And, you may think I'm a good guy, but I'm cheating. I mean, that's how it all came to, because it was stuff. She put stuff on his Facebook page or one of his social media pages in the middle of the night.
She blew it up.
And that's how people found out. He wakes up to this the next day. Does he not have a lawsuit, possibly?
Don't know.
If she, in a sense, went in and took private information and made it public on his social media, it seemed, because I believe he shouldn't have been fired.
I don't know what the legal.
I don't believe that the guy should have been fired. They're not married. The other person wasn't with anybody. Sucks. Maybe he's not a great guy, but still, maybe he wasn't happy. I don't know. But I'm just saying, she went into his phone and put pictures on social media, which is how people found out about it. To me, it seems like, if that were me, it's like I'd be talking to a lawyer.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if he has grounds.
What are your opinions? I mean,
I don't know if he has grounds.
Right.
But as I said earlier when I brought this subject up, I don't think he should have been fired because this is not an employer situation. This is outside of the realm of outside the scope of his employment with the Spurs.
I agree.
This is not something for the Spurs to be involved in. This is between him and his girlfriend. That's what I think. I don't think it's an HR issue because this girl, and it's Lindy Waters III, I think. Lauren is her name, and she's not, as far as we know, connected with the Spurs in any way. It's not like he was fraternizing with somebody that he worked with.
I don't think he should have been fired, but if she went into his phone and posted stuff from his phone on social media,
don't know. It's very
he
possible.
may have a lawsuit there. It would seem to me
possible.
If he was in the UK, I bet he does. You know what I'm saying about stealing stuff and posting social media stuff?
No, none of us know that. None of us can answer that. But he just signed a multi-year deal with the Spurs, and he is also a guy who sings the national anthem for the Spurs.
I didn't know that.
Before the game. Yeah. So I mean, he's done, and I look. None of us know sitting in this room whether if the Spurs have some sort of handbook thing that says you screw around.
Maybe
like
they
this.
got we all get an employee handbook every year
and it may extend to family members, like no fraternizing with family members of players and all that. Who knows? I don't know. None of us know that. None of us can answer that question.
Typical phrasing is conduct detrimental to the team.
That too.
Right.
That's the one that they use in the sports.
And they use it all the time, right? So and the leagues will use it too. The NBA and the NFL will also fine players for conduct detrimental to the sport. So who knows if that's part of it as well? I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah, she posted on his Instagram account. That's how this all became public. This is my girlfriend of 6 years, but I cheated on her with Lauren Waters, at Lauren Waters. So feel free to continue following me if you really think I'm a good guy, because I'm not. I'm just saying that because they weren't married. I'm just saying maybe that.
You know what the term is? Don't poop where you eat.
No, you don't.
Oh, I concur.
That's right.
And been there, done that.
Bad
I'm
idea.
just saying that maybe he has some kind of lawsuit that's possible available if she went into his phone and published personal information.
And you don't know what their arrangement was. Maybe she had full access to his phone.
Maybe.
There are couples who do that.
That's the first problem. You need biometrics. I need a thumbprint.
I don't care.
Don't ever let everyone have access to your phone.
No,
you wouldn't let your wife have access to your phone?
No.
I tell my wife, you can go through my damn phone all you want. You can go through all my drawers. I don't care. I ain't
There's
got nothing
ways to
hide.
work around that, Jimmy.
Oh, I wouldn't.
There are ways to work around.
No,
Elaine knows them all.
I just
Elaine
wouldn't.
knows them all.
I just wouldn't do it because of my group text with my buddies.
Yeah.
That's between us, and we talk about guy stuff like barbershop, and I don't think anyone should.
We have for 43 years we've had privacy, but her stuff is her stuff and I don't touch it. My stuff is my stuff and I don't touch it. However, both of us would offer it freely anytime. She wants to see my phone, baby doll. Here it is. You're welcome to see it. She never asked. She doesn't go on my Facebook. She doesn't care who I talk to.
If they have a fingerprint thing, just catch him when he's sleeping.
I'll see how you are.
Like they fingerprint dead men, huh?
Well, we have the same deal. Where my wife's like, I don't want to look through your stuff. I respect your privacy, but I'm like, go ahead. I don't care. It'll bore the crap out of you.
Yeah, same way. And she's never asked to see anything. She's welcome to see. In fact, she runs all of our business, so she sees all of my stuff. And she sees everywhere I shop. She sees everything that I buy.
She handles money.
And my wife does the same damn thing, and I'm fine with it.
She handles all the money, and I'm totally fine with her seeing it, whatever. In fact, I call her if I run to the grocery store. I'm like, I'm at the grocery store right now, baby. I'll be home in about 15 minutes. All right, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA. Elaine, I just got a text from Dan, my friend Dan. He's a big biker guy, big burly biker kind of guy.
Right.
And he said, y'all are cracking me up this morning. Elaine is absolutely on it. She is cracking me up, laughing my ass off, says Dan. So, Elaine, you are the responsible one making him laugh. Yeah.
You're welcome, Dan. Go pet a cougar.
Go pet a cougar.
At the Alamo Heights swimming pool.
They bite like the real ones, man. Sometimes you hook up with a cougar, she may end up taking you for a ride and not the other way around, man.
That's cool.
That's cool. He's fine with that. Trey remains silent.
So just a few weeks ago, a convicted sex offender and an illegal alien in the United States was shielded from deportation by Tim Walz, who issued him a pardon. Marco Rubio says, oh, not so fast.
Just weeks ago, a convicted sex offender and a foreign national was shielded from deportation by the governor of Minnesota. Laotian national Tu Li Vang was convicted of repeatedly sexually abusing a 10-year-old girl in the state of Minnesota.
Hey, I got a question, and there's more to this. I got a question for you illegal aliens who are in this country. What the hell's your problem with our little girls? If you want to pick on somebody, come pick on me, come pick on Sean, pick on somebody your own size and your own gender. But leave our little girls the hell alone. You guys that came in here under the Biden-Obama years who think it's just wonderful to rape Jocelyn Nungaray and then kill her, or Laken Riley, or Sheridan Gordon, a 20-year-old little girl who's going, I know she's 20 years old, a little than me, but going to college, and she's out to look at the northern lights. Leave our little girls alone. This other guy that I mentioned last hour who knocked the 9-year-old off of her bicycle and raped her in the back of the car, right? Right?
Yeah.
You guys who are here in the country illegally, leave our little girls alone. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Guys like me are going to get our belly full of it, and you're going to start to find us on the other end of this stuff and not the other guys, because we're about pissed off halfway on this stuff right now.
When you import people from countries where human life doesn't mean squat, this is what you get. We're importing that. They come here, and if in their own countries, okay, human life doesn't matter much, then it doesn't matter much here either.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
So leave our little girls alone, all right, or we'll handle the situation ourselves. Now here's Marco Rubio continuing. What did he do about this guy?
He even tried to pay his victim for her silence, and he called his heinous crimes a minor thing. Just days before this foreign sex offender was scheduled to be deported, Tim Walz, the governor, issued him a pardon, setting him free to once again endanger the children of America. Well, this week I revoked his legal status in the United States, and as a result, federal agents took him into custody, and as of today, he has been removed from the United States.
So let's just carry this through, and the logical thing that I've been talking about for quite some time, Sean, is you got to hold these people responsible who allow these guys to get out, right?
Right.
So Tim Walz, this guy had sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl, and he was set to be kicked out of the country, and the governor of Minnesota says, no, here's a pardon. You get to stay. You didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
You get to stay. So had Marco Rubio not intervened and kicked this guy out of the country, and had he gone on and done it again, which we know these guys do that.
Right. Yeah, they do. We could fill up a whole show with a crime blotter from these folks with multiple offenses.
Exactly. Tim Walz is the one that needs to go to prison for that.
Yeah, well, if you can do it, you can find a legal way to do that. Yeah, I think the judges.
I don't care how you do it.
The judges who let these people out in the revolving door there, I think they ought to be. If you could show a pattern, I mean, I think you'd probably have to show a pattern. Sure, why not?
It was clear that Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, was trying to keep this guy from being deported after he committed a heinous crime of raping a 10-year-old girl. So had Marco Rubio not done anything about it, or let's just say the previous administration, because we know they wouldn't have done anything about it, and this guy go back on the street and rape another little girl, the guy you go after, not only the guy who did the rape, but you also add Tim Walz to the mix because he's the one that gave him the means, the wherewithal, the ability, and handed it to him in his lap to go out and rape another girl. Tim Walz, you're just as guilty, buddy.
Well,
just as
again,
guilty.
Whether it's Tim Walz or it's a federal judge or whatever that allows these people to go right back out on the street. I mean, we read stuff every day that went on during the Biden administration where the worst people in the world were let out into the interior. You got to do something about it. I mean, I keep thinking that Jessica Gorman's testimony from last week just sticks in my mind because she is the face of these people who lose their kids. She's the face and the voice. And she said to them, what about your daughter? I guess my daughter doesn't mean that much. My daughter isn't worthy of protection like an illegal alien is. Could you explain why that is to me? And they don't have to worry about their kids getting picked up by these people. They don't have to worry about their family members getting picked up by these people. They got layers of security.
I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but I have said it for time and time again on this show. The judges who continually let these guys back out, like the guy who killed Irina Zarutska, okay? 34 times he was let out by judges. Okay,
crazy.
The guy who set the lady on fire in a bus up in Chicago, 73 times he was let out by these judges in the system. And that's when I started to holler last year that we need to hold these judges accountable for this. We need to go after the judges. The only way you stop that nonsense is if the judge faces the same penalty as the criminal that he continues to let back out on the streets.
Well, you
have to do it.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're right. I think, you need to find, especially when it's very obviously part of some kind of pattern or some intentionality to do this. Perhaps you got to find a way. I know what the counter argument already is going to be, though. The counter argument is going to be, well, if judges have to worry about going to jail themselves or getting sued, then nobody's going to be a judge, and the whole system will fall apart. Well, that's what you'll hear.
Those guys won't be judges. Okay,
well, I know, but that's what you'll hear.
Those turds who do that, who allow criminals to prey on our little girls. That how many of them? Okay, let me just make an example. Irina Zarutska would be alive today. She would not be dead cold 6 feet underground today.
So would Sheridan Gorman. She'd still be alive. Yeah.
These guys that have let these guys out continually have caused the murders of these girls. Jocelyn Nungaray, the same thing. Those guys were TDA guys, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
13-year-old cellist out of Houston, Texas. And 2 TDA turds. Raper and killer, and those guys had already been through the system. And had those judges not released those guys, then Jocelyn Nungaray would be alive today. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so passionate about that. These guys are setting up these little girls to die in the United States of America, and the only way you stop is if you charge them with the same crime and say, you are an accessory. You're an accessory. Just like the guy who drives the car for a bank robbery, you're an accessory.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you again. I just don't know legally how you do that. You got to find a legal way, an argument that you can make where you can hold them responsible. Because again, the counter argument is going to be, well, if they have to worry about going to jail themselves, they can't properly adjudicate.
Well, let's talk about the Irina Zarutska. I didn't mean to fill up the whole segment with
this. That's what they're going to argue against.
To fill up the whole segment with this, but you've got, in Irina's case, that guy had been in and out of the system for 34 times. So the last judge that released him, so he went on that bus and that train and killed Irina Zarutska. He had already been in and out 34 times. The last judge had seen all the previous 33 times.
Right.
So that last judge that let her go already knew what he was going to do when he let him out. He knew that he was going to go do it again because he had done it 33 other times. How many times do you need to see before you realize, oh, I get it. Maybe not the first time. You let a guy out the first time and he goes and does it again. Okay, I understand. But the second, third, fourth, and the 33rd time, and now you're the 34th time that you let him go, and he goes out and kills a girl on a bus who's just coming home from work, yeah, you're responsible. Well, you knew what kind of guy he was, and you knew he was going to go back out and do it again. You have culpability in it.
It's especially with that case, but any case where you have multiple convictions prior, okay, it really gets hard to make the argument that there isn't something systemic going on. And by that, I mean there isn't some governing motivation as to why they're doing this.
Right.
Because the only other explanation is that randomly a bunch of judges are letting people out that shouldn't be let out.
And they're not.
And I don't believe that for a
second.
They're
not.
Yeah.
And so the way you stop that, you have to stem the systemic tide. And the way to do that is you say, you're the next judge that sees this guy, and you let him go. You go too, baby. You're done. You're done. You're out. See ya. We're going to come arrest you because you are the one who let this guy go 34 times. Even if you did it only once, even if you just released him the 34th time, you saw the 33 others in his background, and still you made the decision to let the guy go. And that's the only way. If you want to stop what you're calling systemic, and it is systemic, they're doing it for a reason. If you want to stop it, you say to Judge Trevino, you know what, baby, you let this guy go that's been in and out of the system 50 times, and you're number 51, you're it. You're going too.
I got a question. They want to pack the Supreme Court. Why don't we eliminate some of these judges that are just appointed and not elected? A lot of these judges that are doing all this are appointed, right, Trey?
Yeah, sure. And some of them are
So
elected.
why don't we just eliminate?
Appointments.
If they want to pack the Supreme Court, let's take away judges.
Well, we can do that, but the main thing is there has to be. Okay, look at it this way. In places like New Jersey now, if kids go out and they commit a crime, New Jersey can go get mom and dad and hold mom and dad accountable for the crime of their child.
Right.
If we're going to do that to parents, we damn sure ought to do it to judges who allow these people back out on the street to do it time and time, or even a DA. Okay, we got a DA that I named Let Him Go Joe about how many years ago? 6, 7, 8 years ago. Let Him Go Joe.
6 years ago.
And so same thing. You got a DA that turns and walks on a guy and lets him go. No, you're responsible, baby, if he goes back out on the street and does it again. We have to hold these people, these officials accountable, or you're never going to stop it. Otherwise, you're never going to stop
I agree.
this.
I think I'd also like to see an investigation at some level into, because if it is systemic, if they're all doing it for a reason, right, then there has to be some kind of communication that's gone on at some point with somebody. Because you have to get to the root of why they're doing it. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you that, that you got to come up with a legal way to do that. You can't just, throw them in jail. Like, you can't really throw anybody just in jail. You got to find a way to do it.
You have to have
a legal way to do it.
Sure.
But I also want to know, where did this come from?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You know
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to know that. But that doesn't factor into holding them accountable. The motivating factor is not a factor to me. The factor is you did it. And you knew that this turd had a long track record of it?
I guess what I'm saying is that if you find a plan behind the scenes where there's actual communications, well, then any judge that would be involved in that, you could arrest him. You could get him off the bench, right?
Well, sure.
We were just talking about a judge this week. Remember the one that let the illegal alien escape through the back door?
Yes. Oh, yeah. She got $5,000 fine. That's it.
Yes. Right. So anytime you see this go on, if you want to stop this, and you keep bringing up Sheridan Gorman, I don't know how many times that guy had been in and out of the system. I'm not familiar with him.
I'm not sure.
But we do know the Jocelyn Nungray case was 34. We do know the woman in Chicago was 73. And we do know this guy was given a pardon to avoid deportation by a governor of Minnesota. And had this guy gone back out and committed a crime, my only point is, I don't know legally, Sean. I'm not going to sit here and try to say legally how you should do that. But maybe it is an accessory to a crime. Maybe it is like the guy who drives the getaway vehicle.
Well,
you let this guy go for the 34th time, and he goes and kills a girl on a bus. You're an accessory to that crime.
There are legal minds smarter than we are in this regard that could figure that out. You know what I mean? Because culpability is a big part.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Culpability, I think, would be your best argument.
Sure. You're an accessory because you knew that this guy had done it 33 other times, and yet you're the one who let him back out, and yours was number 34. You drove the getaway car.
If you have somebody in a mental health facility that you know is violent by their very nature, right? I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
And you know that they cannot be around other people because they are violent, and you open that door and let them out, you're going to be facing criminal charges, right?
It's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the same thing.
You got to make that kind of a legal argument.
And that's
fine. You
fine.
knew, based upon all this other evidence, as far as the track record of their behavior, what they were going to do if they got out.
You become the accessory to the crime. You gave him the means.
Right.
He didn't have the means as long as you had him locked up.
Right.
But you provided the means by letting him out. And those little girls that we look at, and by the way, going back to my previous statement, it's always little girls. They very rarely go out and pick on somebody their own size. And I'm pissed about that, guys. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to use the P word. But men in this country have got to start standing. Little toxic masculinity is all right. Start protecting, seriously. Seriously, it is. Start protecting our girls. And these little turds that come in here illegally and they want to kill our girls and rape our girls, the men in this country got to stand up and put a stop to it. We have to. We have to say that's enough.
You got to be there in the moment when it happens.
Well, yeah, of course. But we have to say,
because most of the time we find out about this stuff after it's already happened.
And I'm not even talking about vigilantism. What I'm saying is that we have to be the voice. We have to stand up like we're doing right now, and we have to get through to the leadership, to the political leadership, the people who make the laws. We should stand up for our little girls and say, enough is enough. Leave them the hell alone. And write a law if you got to have a law to make these guys an accessory crime. Then write the damn law. Ted Cruz, introduce the law. Ted Cruz, let's go.
Well, I'm not. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. You would have to assume also that every freaking Democrat in Congress would vote against such a law that would hold judges accountable.
Would. And then you would have a whole other thing to talk about.
Well, we would,
Then who would the Democrats, what side would they be on? More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA, chances for rain and thunderstorms and heavy downpours possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90, partly cloudy Sunday and Monday with highs about 92. 78 at KTSA. Ware and Rima, KTSA.
Well, a couple of Fox News stories. We were watching this earlier. Janice Dean is saying goodbye after 22 years, which is about as long as I've been longer, I guess, since I started watching. I guess I started watching Fox around 98, 99 is when I kind of discovered Fox, and she's been a part of that for a long time. And she's just one of those cool people on the air, and you had talked about her being on the Imus show way back when, and so she's I guess retiring today after 22 years at Fox News.
Her dad is sick.
Her dad is sick. Is that what it is? And also, I had mentioned this story earlier where Joy Behar on the puke. I'm sorry, The View had this to say. They talking about the supporters of Donald Trump, critics of their side of the room. They watch Fox. They watch these channels that they don't know what's going on really. Talk radio, Fox News, they don't get the same information you get on the other channels, like what, MS Now, whatever the hell it's called. I find that interesting. Now, one thing we know about talk radio listeners, and this has classically been true for a long time, is that they tend to be better informed on world events than people who listen to any other kind of radio or watch any other kind of TV. By virtue of the fact that what we're doing, what talk radio does, is talk about world events. Mm-hmm. People who listen to talk radio have an interest in that, which means they read a lot about that beyond listening to guys like you and me. And you do a fantastic job, and so does Jack, of putting out information as far as, the news stories and what's actually going on beyond the commentary. So I take, she's full of crap there. I mean, I talk to people all that, we interact with people who are Jimmy Kimmel people or MSNBC people or network people, and they are classically some of the most low information people you will ever meet.
Absolutely.
Now, of Fox News, okay, I watch a lot of Fox News. I have it on during the day. And, you and I have talked about this before about how, sometimes there's a lag. A story will not hit the major shows on Fox News. Maybe it showed up on X a few days before. I go with Fox primarily because I want to be the guy who's talking about what Gutfeld's talking about. What are the stories? And you see the stories on a daily news cycle that hit the major shows of Fox News, and maybe some of them are, from the internet perspective, a couple of days old. But a lot of people watch it still.
Sure.
Gutfeld especially is the most watched night show. So I'd rather go on the air with something Gutfeld's talking about, even though it may be a story that's a couple of years old or a couple of days old, because it's top of mind for folks. So that's why I personally do watch a lot of Fox or follow Fox a lot.
Let me just insert something real quick, because the reason people watch Gutfeld, even though the story may be a couple of days old, or listen to you or listen to me, is because they want to hear what we say about it.
Think about it.
They're not there for the immediacy of the news.
Right, right.
So it could be a couple of days old, but they don't care. They may have heard it a couple of days before, but what does Greg think about it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the draw. And, what's the other side of that coin? You have a whole lot of people in the media who do profess to be journalists, who do say they're giving you pure information, and it ain't that at all.
and Behar, here's what Behar's butthurt about. She's ABC.
Yeah.
Okay? ABC is in the fight of their life right now over this whole idea if they're a bona fide news program.
Right.
And so she's trying to say, and Brandon Carr lit into him again yesterday. I'll play it later. But anyway, she's trying to say we're a bona fide news program. That's who we are. And they're not. They're not.
It's laughable.
Well, yeah. And so, and the other thing is, if you're watching Fox News or X or somewhere else, then you're not getting the propaganda that that ABC and Disney and CBS, they're all in cohorts together to push propaganda for the left wing in this country.
We've done it before on this show. You've done it where you compare what somebody is saying on one show as to what they're saying on another show, and it's like it's a script. They're all saying, they're using the exact same words
precisely
to describe something. They obviously all get talking points. And so when I was looking at that video clip from yesterday of Joy Behar, I was like, oh, come on.
I mean, CBS news radio's gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right, Jimmy.
That was the first domino to fall, and maybe that's another reason why they're all a little butt clenches. Like, hey, this ain't good.
They're a little clenched, man.
But let me give you a prime example of what you were just talking about with the script. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Elon Musk has managed to bring Twitter to the brink of collapse in just 3 weeks.
This is the end, or was the end, of Twitter.
Does one come back from destroying Twitter, burning it to the ground?
Elon Musk burning the business to the ground.
The absolute destruction of the platform formerly known as Twitter.
Now, this goes on for several minutes.
Yeah,
They're
all saying the same thing.
I mean, it's on the teleprompter. Just read the words. Don Henley, I know you don't like him, but Dirty Laundry is a great song because he says, "Bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. It's interesting when people die. Give us Dirty Laundry."
Well, that's true. And I love Don Henley's music. I just don't want to be stuck in an I don't want to be stuck in an elevator with a guy.
I know. You know what? Let me do one more since you're talking about that and the script, because this is interesting.
Musk has turned X, formerly known as Twitter, into a cesspool.
Twitter X is just such a cesspool now.
But it's also a cesspool. Everything that goes on, it's a circus cesspool. Twitter right now is a cesspool.
Twitter is a cesspool, or X, I guess it's called now.
Cesspool of just bad information, lies, hate speech.
Twitter is becoming a deeper, darker cesspool of...
Now, I know we got to go, but that proves the point right there.
Absolutely it does.
More Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50.
KTSA and FM 107.1.
Well, we're wearing Rima, and it is Funky Friday, obviously, but the Atomic Dog. Yeah, 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 yippee, yay, yippee, yay, yeah, yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Bow, wow, wait. Anyway, I was just watching Catherine Limbaugh, and she was there at the Tyler Robinson hearing yesterday, sitting with Erica Kirk. And first of all, I miss her husband on the radio. You know, Clay and Buck, they're not Rush.
Right.
I'm sure they're nice guys, and they do best they can do. Our guys are a whole lot better to listen to in the middle of the day. I do miss him. I miss Rush a lot. I really do. He was
top of the pyramid, man.
And you know what the thing was about him, Sean? When I was out in the middle of the day and I would flip him on, the world just seemed right because he was there. It wasn't a matter of what he was saying or anything. It's okay, the world's good because Rush is still there. We haven't blown up yet. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's just good.
He made being conservative cool. You know, he really did back in the day.
Well, you and I wouldn't have a career without him.
No, we would not.
And this radio station would be off the air because AM radio was done.
Yeah.
Before Rush Limbaugh in 1988, AM radio was done. It was over. And so he saved the AM band, and he created talk radio the way we know talk radio is today. He created it.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of rolled in there after the Fairness Doctrine was kind of rolled back and really just owned it. He really did.
He was the first one that had the guts and the nuts to do what we do. You know, he was the trailblazer. And I'm not going to sit here and this segment's not about him, but his wife was just on, so I'm just saying. Bruce Marr, when we had him on this station, Bruce Marr was also our consultant. So we met with Bruce kind of like you and I did with David Hall and all the others. And Bruce would come here and we'd meet to face to face. And he was the one. I mean, he was read Rush. If you guys haven't read Rush's biography, you got to. But he was the one when Rush was working for the Kansas City Royals. And Bruce took over a station in California. And Rush called him up and said, "Hey, man, listen, I want to do talk radio." And Bruce said, "Cool." But Rush said, "But you got to let me come be me. I want to do what I do. You don't tell me what to do. Let me come in and just do me." And he came in and he lit Sacramento up.
Right.
I mean, it was just gigantic. So Bruce calls the head of ABC in New York and says, "You better grab this guy and you better grab him now." And that's when Rush went to New York. And Bruce Marr told me this himself. And Rush went to New York and he did 2 shows a day. He did a show on ABC, WABC local in New York, and then the national radio show. He did 2 shows a day for all those years. Anyway, Catherine was just on talking about being with Erica Kirk at the trial yesterday. See, the hearing. Right.
Yeah, it was.
And she ended it by saying, no matter what your thoughts are about somebody's opinion, they don't deserve to die for that. Disagree with their opinion. And there's a woman who, she knows what disagreeing with an opinion is all about because her husband caught hell every day.
Sure.
Right? And she said, but there's no reason to kill them for their opinion. Please feel free to disagree. That's what America is all about. But nobody deserves to die for their opinion, and that's the only thing that Charlie Kirk was killed for.
Oh yeah. I ended up watching the Lance Twiggs preliminary, whatever the hell that was. I ended up just sitting on my porch and watching a bunch of Charlie Kirk videos. I just got kind of sucked into watching
yesterday.
These debate videos that he did, at the college campuses or wherever he would be. And I probably sat and I'd watched a bunch of them after he got shot. And it was kind of the same thing yesterday where I just got pulled in by the guy's charisma, by his intellect, by how completely literate, amazingly literate that guy was. And it was because he did that. That he was assassinated, and you hear you read these texts with Tyler Robinson, and you hate, I get the hate, and he was not a hateful man, far from it. Charlie Kirk was not a hateful person.
Well, let's address that for just a second, because I was a fan member, and I told you I watched him. I watched him a lot,
right?
And I watched his podcast, and I watched his things at these events, and I never once heard him take into somebody personally. Never one time. He would challenge some of the things that you said. Well, he challenged what you said if he disagreed with it, but he never demeaned anybody. He was never an a-hole to anybody. It's just not who he was. And in fact, if you disagreed with him, you went to the head of the line so you could have that discussion. His thing was, I want to change hearts and minds. I don't want to demean you. I don't want to tear you down. So there were people who were gay and would walk up with a pink hair, and I'm gay, and he would go, okay, let's talk. And he never tried to change their mind from being gay, not even one time.
Very often you get people get up there in the microphone, and they're upset, and they want to dig into him. And by the end of his interaction with them, they're practically friends. I mean, they come away with a whole new respect for the guy because he wasn't hateful, because he wasn't insulting, because he didn't demean people. He just stated his cause. And what was fascinating to watch about that guy is that there was really no topic that anyone could bring to that microphone that Charlie hadn't read every single book around that topic, knew all the authors, all the major food groups of any given issue you were bringing to him. He had already done the reading. And that, to me, I found fascinating because he wasn't fairly, compared to us, fairly young guy. But a guy who must have been reading 24/7 throughout his life,
And one of the reasons that Catherine, you're right, and one of the reasons that Catherine was there was Rush talked about him on his show, about meeting him. They brought him to him, and the first, I think on Rush's show, he said, I was on the golf course when they brought him up to me.
Wow.
And we had just a couple of minutes together, and Rush said, that guy is going to rule the world. And he was just a kid, little. I think he was 18, 19, something like that when he met Rush the first time. And he made friends with people really fast. He was one of those guys that was affable. They'll all tell you, Don Jr. is one of them that was one of his closest friends, Donald Trump Jr., and they were just quick. They became friends fast.
Well, you could just see from the video what a charismatic guy he was in a very natural way, not in a pushy or over-the-top way. He's a very naturally charismatic person.
Now, just 1 minute about the negativity, because this needs to be said too. We've talked about Candace Owens, we've talked about Tucker, we've talked about this Jesse on Fire guy and the Alex Jones and all them that are out there with all kinds of conspiracy theories. The latest is, I talked about this while you were off the other day. The latest, Alex Jones and Jesse on Fire, we're talking about the other day. You know what? He faked his death. He's still alive.
Of course, yeah. Right. It doesn't surprise me.
But the one I think about with all this, you're not hurting Charlie with any of that, okay? The one I think about is Erica, and the people that have implicated Erica in this, like Candace and the others who have implicated her and the inner circle inside. Andy Colvett just put out a thing a couple of days ago. You suck. Basically go away.
Candace Owens is an a-hole, and I've said that from day one. As soon as I started hearing what was coming out of her mouth in the days after Charlie Kirk's assassination, I'm like, what an a-hole.
Well, it's a very the one my heart breaks for is Erica Kirk, because she has to live with this every day. Her husband and the father of her children are dead, and for these people to do this to her, y'all are lowlifes, man. Y'all are doing this to her, y'all are lowlifes.
Well, especially Candace, because she makes it so personal. She really does make it personal, and I think she's a creep. I think she's fungus. I really do. She's a fame whore, obviously.
Well, and what Andrew said the other day in his tweet was, you were not part of the inner circle. You never really were part of the inner circle. He's talking to Candace. And he said, Charlie told me before he died, keep her close, no matter what happens to me in the future. Keep her close so you can preserve this organization.
Sure.
In other words, you got to make sure you're on top of her and you control her. Otherwise, she will try to burn this place down.
Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right. And if you look at Candace Owens, she doesn't really produce anything past 2018 because apparently that's right around the time that this split, where she was kind of pushed out of the inner circle occurred. I think she's one of those people that I find to be the lowest form of human in media is that kind of person.
Well, I don't mean to make this segment about her either. This is more about Erica, as far as I'm concerned, and making sure that you're not dragging her, and that's what too many of these people are doing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't deserve that. Catherine,
disgusting.
I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but Catherine Limbaugh, you are a princess. You were that was just amazing. My heart is it's on the floor right now from listening to her. And again, she has the history and the experience to know what she's talking about.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Rush, we miss you. All right, more Ware and Rima coming up. KTSA. Chances for rain and thunderstorms and heavy downpours possible today and tomorrow. Highs near 90 and then partly cloudy on Sunday and Monday. Highs about 92. It's 79 now. KTSA. Watch where you're parking. No parking on this dance floor. You keep it moving. Don't you park. You go. It's Funky Friday. We are Ware and Rima, KTSA. And Jack, something I couldn't bring up throughout the entire show. 4 hours I've been hanging on to this topic because the guy I work with in this room every day just absolutely hates with a burning passion. He hates French fries. And today...
What?
Yeah.
I find potatoes boring. You have to do something to them to make them interesting.
And today,
well, French fries is doing a lot to them.
What's that?
It's rendering them unrecognizable.
I'm an onion ring guy. Okay.
And today is National French Fry Day.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Well, that's why I would not dare bring up French fry in your presence.
I don't get offended when people eat French fries. I'm just not into it.
Jack, do you have a favorite French fry by any chance?
Any French fries that are in front of me that are within reach, I would say. I'm not discerning, as we talked about yesterday. I'm obviously, I need to be more discerning than I am. But I still can't get over that. I can't. This is a guy that eats at gas stations.
I do eat at gas stations.
What gives you the right to be a snob about French fries?
It's just mush, man. You have to do something. An onion by itself is interesting. Okay.
All right, so tell me something interesting that is done to what is an interesting treatment of a potato, monsieur?
Well, nobody's gonna gnaw on a potato like you gnaw on an apple because it by itself is boring as hell. But you got to deep fry it, or you gotta like put sour cream on it and chives.
No, you don't.
You just eat a potato all by itself?
I have. Sure.
Why?
Why not?
Yeesh. It's like a mouthful
of
mush.
What about sweet potatoes? Are you do you look down your nose at those too?
I don't look down my snoot at sweet potatoes. I feel a little bit better about them because they've got some flavor
potatoes
going.
of color are different. I see how it is. Okay.
I'm trying to be diverse.
And now, Professor, you see why I didn't bring it up during the show today? This would have been my whole morning.
I've never been a potato fan.
You see what I got to do?
I'm shocked. I've forgotten everything I was going to talk about.
See? Well, my favorite is...
I don't recognize this country anymore.
That's right. My favorite is not the waffle fries, although I'll eat those. My favorite is a crinkle cut, and I'll make crinkle cuts at the house.
Yeah, I'll eat any of those, all of the above.
I like waffle fries at Chick-fil-A. They're Jesus fries.
Oh, yeah.
Wedges. You know what you would like, Sean? You should do this sometime. Cut up some potatoes.
Yes.
Brush them with olive oil.
Yes.
Sprinkle a little salt and pepper, a little rosemary. Roast them in the oven.
Yes.
If you don't like that, you need to go to the ER and get your vitals checked.
If you don't like that, you're a comic.
I've had them.
Oh,
my wife has fixed roasted potatoes.
I think those you might find interesting.
Yes, that's right.
It's still just a crispy husk with a lot of mushy boring in the middle of it. That's all.
No, it's not.
You could say the same about me.
All of us.
You're mushy in the middle, Jack. We didn't know that about
I
you.
am. I try not to show it.
We had no clue.
Hey, I've got a question.
Yes?
I've got a question for you guys. When Mexico sues the United States, will it be in the People's Court or Judge Judy? Which
we didn't get to that
venue is the right?
No.
Where do they have jurisdiction here?
I think it's going to be Judge Garcia.
Does Steve Harvey still have his judge show? Maybe it could be on the Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
That's right. We're going to get sued by Mexico, right?
Yeah,
what's going to happen?
Oh, she's pissed. She's upset about the guy over in Houston.
She needs to not pull her hair back so tight. I think her hair is too tight because look, I'm not a lawyer, but that's a whack idea. And if we were to turn around and sue them for all the Americans that have been killed in and by Mexico, good grief, it'd never be over.
Can we?
Absolutely.
We should. I mean, what's good for them is good for us. Let's go for it.
So, Claudia, get some better legal advice. I don't know who you're talking to, but they're not helping you.
And her true Mexican name too, Shine Bomb.
It's so Mexican-y sounding. Shine Bomb.
Come
Shine
on.
Bomb. Oh,
fake it.
Jack, when you were watching the Twigs, I don't know, with young Mr. Twigs yesterday, did you find it odd when they got to the bullet part and he's testifying or giving a deposition on, Charlie or Tyler came to me with this business of wanting to put words on bullets because he was going on a hunting trip with his family.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you kind of go like, you need to put words on bullets to what? Shoot a pheasant? Kill a squirrel?
Like, what are you, Elmer Fudd? I mean, who? I don't know, so help me. Do hunters inscribe their bullets? Do the animals care about that? Like, I understand writing, like, death to Tojo on the bombs we were dropping over Tokyo, but, like, a hunter? That doesn't make any sense. But that guy's testimony was, I don't know. I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff has happened, but he just seemed without any affect. He seemed like zombified. Maybe they had coached him and told him, hey, don't show any emotions, just the facts. But that was a very weird presentation.
Well, and he totally implicated him. I came away from it with I walked away from that deal going, this guy's done.
The legal experts have been saying all week, enough already. We don't even need all this.
No.
This was just to prove that it should be bound over for trial. We knew that by like Tuesday. This is overkill.
Well, and yet you still have the conspiracy theorist out there. I don't know if you heard the latest. It's from Alex Jones and this Jesse on Fire guy. They did a show the other day where they're saying he's still alive, that the Navy SEALs have told them that Charlie had to fake his death so he could take over our government.
Is he with JFK and Elvis in Switzerland?
He's with
the
Elvis.
National Enquirer used to say.
Pumping gas
JFK
in Alabama.
was alive in Switzerland.
That's right. Pumping gas with Elvis down in Alabama.
Oh, God.
You got to admit, as a country, conspiracy theory, like no country in the world beats us for conspiracy theories. We are the reigning champs for that.
We are.
Yeah, we corner the market on bizarro conspiracy theories.
Well, Jack, have a great show and a great weekend.
Thank you. You have a great weekend as well. You've already had a great show.
Spend some time getting mushy in the middle.
Oh, God.
And I'll see you on Monday.
Spread the love. Don't be a jerk. And